YouTube. Let's start up X. Okay, how are we over here? Good to go. Everything's ready to go. All right. Okay, we're live on 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. Come on, light me up. What's going on, X? Okay, there we go. Create broadcast. There you are. Okay. Where are you? Oh, I gotta post it. There we go. There we go. All right, we're live on X. Top post. There we go. And then last but not least, where are you? Okay, we're live on IG. Let's start the show.
Time alone when I am perfectly willing to give her everything she needs. I don't care about her past. I don't care what she's been through. I just wanna feel one night with good love, baby. That's all I wanna do. So baby, if you got that feeling, well, I wanna give you that midnight healing. You know what I'm talking about, yeah. Just turn the lights down low and come right on over here to me. I know you don't want no commitments, baby. I just wanna set your body free. And I don't care what's going on in the night outside my door. I just wanna get your
Okay. What's good, y'all? Happy Monday. Happy Monday night. Let's make sure we got everything set here. Welcome. Welcome to the Hour of Power. All right. Let me just do a quick audio check. Let me make sure that everything is good. Hello, X. Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Twitch. And hello, IG. All right, let me make sure that we are good. Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, we're good. All right. Welcome to the show, y'all. I hope everybody's having a lovely Monday night. It's a little cold here up in NYC. Nice temps of 37 degrees. Anyways, tonight's guest. So you guys know this guest well. He's been on the show quite a few times already. He was actually on the show as part of the Art Cartel. He also was one of the big guests that was part of the Christmas holiday episode. Surprise guest that was part of the Christmas episode. So it was nice to have him on the that part of that show. That was fun. And now you're gonna get to meet him all by his lonely. He has this is a spotlight show. I want to welcome Judasaca. Hang on, let me bring him on. All right. Huda, say hello. Wait, hang on. All right, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody. I was just waiting on that cue. But what's up? How are you? So good to be here again, man. Like, I feel Christmas was such a long time ago. For quite the beginning of January, like of the year, I felt it was flowing quite fast. But now I feel like we are on January, I don't know, 40 something. You know, it's like it's been the longest month ever. How are you, man?
I'm good, Juan. How are you?
All great. Happy to be back in like the routine of work. I'm happy to be back in Bogota, in my hometown. I had a great, I would say, vacation. You know, I took um like a good holiday period, and I was able to spend time with mom and like reconnect, and my brother was over visiting as well. So we all got together, and I feel that's all great. Like I really did have um like that moment to really recharge and start 2025 with everything. It's gonna be a great year, hopefully.
I gotta tell, I can't believe how fast January has gone. I'll tell you that much. I know you feel like it's been the longest month, but
It
man,
has.
it cooked for me, and it feels like December 25th was like a snap ago.
A year
Yeah,
ago.
no, I feel like it was like a snap ago, man. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, he's been on the show a couple times. I'm like, what other show was he on? And I'm like, oh shit, he was on the Christmas show. I was like, that was such a good show. It's such a mixture of
It
different
was.
people. So, I was like, you just fit right in, and it's like everybody's having a good time. You on the Art Cartel? I'm like, so now as I'm looking at the schedule, I'm like, holy shit, Juan was like, I'm like, Huda was at the end of the month. I'm like, it's the end of the month already. I'm like, all right, let's get serious. Judasaca. Why don't you take a second, introduce yourself, give everybody a brief rundown, a little brief history of yourself,
Perfect.
and take it from here, man.
All right, so my name is Juan Salazar. That's like, I mean, Juan David Salazar Castillo is where you get the Judasaca from. I do get mixes, like mixtape, like mixed with my name every now and then. People will call me like Judasaca or Judascas or whatever, but Judasaca. And I was talking to my brother actually about this as how the name came to be. And it was back in like 90, like late 90s with the whole Hotmail email situation. So I've been an artist now for quite a while. I'll say 6 years, 2018, when I took this, I would say hobby into a more serious matter, and I kind of professionalized the whole thing, and I started painting more. And basically, I'm an artist. I like to paint physically, but back in 2021, and of course we're gonna get into this much more. I found out about NFTs and digital art, and this led me on to Web3, and it's been a great trip, I'll say. And I like to mix like the physical reality or art with technology through augmented reality and like virtual reality with the whole Oculus thing. And basically, that's what I like to do. But that's not what I do as a whole. I'm also a marketing professor at one of the top five universities here in Colombia. That's where I'm from. I was born in, I wouldn't say raised, but I was born in Colombia, and I've moved around a lot, and then I lived like I did high school in Miami, so yes, that's why I'm like a bit of everywhere. I've lived in various places, and all of that gets mixed into my art as well. I say it's very eclectic into how I take various pieces from a lot of the things that I see and do as a marketing professional, and of course as an artist, and I play with this thing called and I'm going to talk more about this, of course, which is pop expressionism, but also focusing on brandalism, and playing a bit with brands, and the whole vandalism that could be from the interest of street art, and like just the expression of oneself into whatever we want to do. So I'm just that sort of hybrid artist, if you may, that likes to create bridges between art and tech. And that's a brief introduction about myself, but I guess we're gonna have some time to talk a bit more about that here.
So, little Juan, when you were growing up, small, you did mention to me before the show how you were so the raised in the states thing kind of surprised me. So I do have a couple questions, right? And I guess I want to start with when did the art start, right? Technically, when did the art start? Was there always a little artist, or is that something that came later on in life? And then maybe a little bit about your childhood, because it sounds like interesting, right? Normally, you hear about people moving from, Colombia to America, but you kind of little crisscross, a little backwards from America to Colombia, which was a surprise to even me when I heard it. So maybe we could venture a little into that, and then yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'll get into that. I had a pretty, I'll say, hectic, not in the bad term of hectic, just I moved around a lot growing up. So I'm originally from Bogota, Colombia. That's where I live now. And then very like I don't know, I was probably 2 years old. I moved to the coast, Caribbean coast of Colombia. That's the northern part of the country, to a small town called Tolu. Not a lot of people know about this town, not even here in Colombia, but it's a small town I have like a very special place in my heart for. It's like my where my first memories come to be from. So it's really right next to the beach. There's not a lot of like development or anything like that, and it was, I guess, a pretty chill childhood. And I lived there until I was like probably 4 or 5 years old, and then I moved to another small town called Cerete, and I'm gonna go over this pretty quickly. And then I ended up in Monteria, which is another, now I wouldn't say small town. This is not a small town. This is pretty like a mid town or like a mid city sort of. I'll say like 800,000. The population might be like 800,000 people, so like not such a small town. Um, and then I lived there until I was like, I don't know, probably 10 years old, and I moved to my mom's hometown, which is Ibagué here in Colombia, musical city of Colombia. I love the weather there. I remember moving to Ibagué, and just like, I mean, I guess I've been there before. I was like when I was younger than 10, but I didn't remember that much. So living there was pretty intense. I was a fifth grader, like going into a new school, and like the whole accent stuff here in Colombia is pretty tough. So like if you speak differently, like it was kind of cool, but at the same time it was like a bit shocking just to go somewhere else. But it was kind of cool. I kind of connected.
Within
Go
Colombia.
ahead. Yeah, all of this within Colombia.
Okay.
So I mean, if you start counting, I went to like 9 schools altogether. You know, it's
I was
like
gonna say, um,
every year I would go to a different fucking school.
what was the was there a reason for the movement, moving around, or just trying to find?
Yeah, no, like my dad is an architect, so like if he had things to do in a different city, we would move around a
Okay.
bit, and eventually my parents split up, so my mom went back to her like hometown, and I guess I went with her for a while, and then she moved to the States because a bunch of her family lived there in the States in Miami, mostly, and like Central Florida. And so she moved there. I went back to like living with my dad, and I moved to the States with my mom for like 5 years. And I went to high school there. And even in Miami, I moved around quite a bit too. I went to like 3 high schools, you know. And it's only 4 years of high school, so it's insane. Like every time I think back to that, I'm like, wow, it really like makes you I don't know, I guess it develops the way one can adapt to people to like change and stuff like that. So I mean that was part of it. So I went back, I graduated high school in Miami. I went to Miami Killian Senior High School. For some reason, if you type that in, you get like all these news about like crazy stuff that's happened there. But that was a high school I went to. Great friends I made, of course, along the way, living everywhere. But those are the friends that I have like a close relation to. They still live in Miami. I love them. And then I went back to Colombia for school. So I did all my university here. I went to school for business, and eventually, like I started working in marketing related things, and kind of got pulled into the whole marketing world, and decided to move to Barcelona, Spain, to do a master's degree there. So that was pretty cool. And the whole Barcelona experience was was pretty amazing. It wasn't as bad as it is now. People talk about insecurity in Barcelona being like really crazy at the moment. But back in 2016, 2017, while I was there, 2018, um, it was pretty nice. You know, it was like the weather is pretty good in Barcelona. Even when it gets cold, it's not all that bad. It's still like decent. I'll say winter, and it's pretty fun. You know, so that's a bit about me. As you see, I've lived everywhere. I've moved everywhere. It's crazy. It really has been. I'm only 33 years old, and I've lived like in I don't know how many cities now. I have to count them.
You so I okay, so the movement and all the changes, I would imagine that you were exposed to a lot, right? We talk about the internet now, and how quickly we are exposed to media, and now they're saying in in the future, we're not going to be watching these long 30-minute videos. We're going to be watching these 1-minute videos where we could learn everything in that 1 minute, and then boom, on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. So the content and just everything, there's just so much, right? And so where I would think that it's and I would think that with such a with a lot of movement, there would be a lot of confusion. But also, with minus the confusion, there would be a lot of exposure, meaning that you would probably be exposed to a lot. Do you feel like you were exposed to a lot of art? I mean, I would imagine you were exposed to a lot of different schools, a lot of different friends, just a lot of different lifestyles, and that would reflect into your life and your art as well. I would think the move would be a strong thing that would strengthen you, as well as seeing such a variety of different things. Was there any art in all of that, or did the art come later? Like, yeah. What? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I started like I mean every kid painted, you know, like I believe every kid paints. So maybe I would paint stuff when I was little.
Okay.
I do remember like having art class, and I would go off to my friends and be like, "Yo, I'll do what we have to do, which is like I don't know, paint something," and I would paint for them, and I'll get paid for this. So I'll be like, "I'll do your paintings," you know, it's like I'll do your art homework. And I remember doing that when I was like probably 10 years old.
How most people pay people to do
Math and
their
stuff.
papers. You were making money off of doing people.
Yeah, I mean, I had this. I think I never had art, like an art class, and one of the schools I went to, I was still in Colombia. I was probably like 10 years old. We had like a proper art class, you know, like you'd actually have to sit down and paint, like art class. People would be like, yeah, regular, but no, we didn't have that. I didn't have that in every school I went to. So in this particular school, I really enjoyed like our homework. It would be like you have to paint this, whatever. Um, I don't know, like the ocean or the flowers, and I'll be like, yo, I'll paint them all, and you pay me. And kids will be like, yeah. I mean, not every kid likes to paint, so I'll get paid for that. But I wouldn't say that was the start of my artistic ways. I would say I was really impacted by, of course, I would draw and stuff like that. And when I moved to Barcelona, I started seeing a lot of the street artists that I would see in like Bogota and like in Miami and like other cities around the world. And I was like, yo, that's pretty cool. Like I've seen this. I mean, this dude over here, Chupet Negra, he's an artist from Barcelona. So I started seeing all these artists, and I was like, I've seen him not only here in Barcelona, but I've seen him in my hometown in Bogota, in Medellin, and that really caught my attention. So eventually, I was like, I mean, I paint stuff too. What's the next step? Like, what do I have to do if I want to get my art showcased at any like gallery or any spot like that? And of course, I said that it's gonna be a hard thing to do because I'm not an artist. I wasn't like I didn't go to school for the arts. So, but I said my art, like I believed in it. So I was like, I guess it's pretty cool. Let's see what I can do with this. So I became friends with Chupet Negra, funny enough. And I told him, yo, I live in Colombia. I've seen your art. And he's like, I'll hit you up when I'm in Bogota if I'm ever down there again. I mean, he comes here often. So that was like probably 2018. I had already been painting a lot when I was in Barcelona. I came back. And I guess I was inspired by all the art that I saw there, like Salvatore Dali, Joan Miró, and all these artists from Spain, including, of course, El Maestro Picasso, right? But just being exposed to art, I mean, I grew up in my dad collects art, so like we always had like, these bunch of paintings, and he would talk about stories about the artists that he had the chance to meet eventually, or like this guy died, but I met him, and all these stories about art. So I grew up with that, and 2018, I come back to Colombia and I was like, I'm just painting. I'm on this rant. Like, I got back to my apartment and like I made a studio out of it. So I just started painting and throwing paint everywhere. I was doing a lot of oil paintings back then. I believe that was the way. I mean, I really enjoy oil painting. It just takes a long time to dry off. So you have to be patient. And I guess that's always good for an artist. And when I came back, I just started, you know, painting and painting, and I get this call from a Chupet Negra, and he tells me, "Yo, I'm in Bogota. Why don't you come over and like hang out with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's cool." We went off to San Felipe, which is the like art district neighborhood, if you want, if you may, here in Bogota. And he showed me a bit of the art world, like the art galleries, and he like you know he introduced me to some people, and I started painting more. I was now in, I would say, the place where art was happening in Bogota and this new wave. And I had the chance to exhibit my work back in like, I don't know, I was probably 2020, like right after we opened up after the pandemic. And I had the chance to exhibit my work there. But yeah, if I honestly started painting, I'll say more professionally, 2018. But the last time I said this, a good friend of mine, she said, I have pieces like art pieces from me from 2014. So I mean you could, yeah, 2018, that's the year I say I started like really painting and putting it out there. I would say, you know, because I would paint, but I wouldn't show people. But 2018, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna. I feel I can do this. It's what I'm looking at the shows I'm going to, and I just decided to go for it. I guess that's the reason why I actually did this. I was like, I guess if I don't believe in it, nobody will. So I had to take that first step, and I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's ask. Let's knock on some doors, and let's just like make sense out of all of this. It is a pretty crazy world. Like we haven't gone into the Web3 part, but just art on its own, it's crazy. Like it's a social thing. You have to go meet people, and then the more you get into it, and hopefully I don't get like, I mean, this is being recorded, but hopefully people don't come back at me for this. But the art part, like the actual art, starts like being left aside sometimes in the conversation. You know, it's like, so who had this painting and how much was it and all of that, and I'm like, yo, but let's talk about the art for a second. Um, let's see what's in there, and I feel that's always part of what I want to bring into my art, and is kind of like it. I hope, the people that connect with it. I want them to look twice. I want them to have that like second moment, and I guess that's why I jumped into AR in such like a deep way. And it was, I want people to look at my art, and that's fine, but I want them to go beyond the canvas, which is pretty cliche for artists to say, but I meant in the relationship that we have with like whatever we do and technology. Today, we're always scanning barcodes and scanning freaking QR codes and taking pictures of our food before we eat it and taking pictures when you're getting on the plane, when you're getting off the plane. We're always taking pictures and sharing all of that. And I said, um, I've seen people take pictures in front of like murals. You go off, see a cool mural, and then you take a picture next to it. Not from now. People have been doing this back from like whenever we had cameras. People would do this back in New York with like Keith Haring stuff. And I was like, can we mix these two things together? Like, can I make people start sharing the stuff that they buy? If you buy a painting, I would have to invite you over to my house to show you that I bought a new painting. But if I take a picture of it, I guess that's a validation that we have now thanks to technology. So all of that brought me to, connecting those two things. Started painting 2018, found out about AR maybe in 2018, 2019 to 2020 or something like that. And I guess the pandemic and all of that helped me to like dive into the craft and just creating these bridges between art and technology.
Got the mute.
I think you're on
Got the
mute.
mute. They
Oh
they
yeah, you
always
got.
put the. I gotta turn the mute button is right here, right? So if I grab the mic the wrong way, I always hit the mute button. Um, okay. Let's talk a little bit about the middle now. Let's college, right? Um, you mentioned the business. Did I hear correct? Right.
Yeah.
And then marketing. Yeah. What made you go that way?
So yeah, I mean, I graduate where I have to go. I mean, you have to do an internship before you graduate, right? So I applied to a bunch of internships, but I finally got accepted to Philip Morris, right? So that's like the Marlboro people, tobacco
Yeah,
industry.
I know them. Yeah,
So,
yeah. Very good marketers.
yeah, exactly. So I went on to work for them, and I we did market research. So I was into that, and it was a pretty interesting experience. I had a lot of fun during my internship, and I did pretty well. So they asked me to stay there. Like I was offered a job after my internship, which is pretty cool. So I stayed with them. Not in marketing, but in this, I was now in trade marketing. So I was even like I would say more fun, if I may. I was young, so I was driving around Bogota, and I had this role called business developer. So I was all around Bogota developing the business of these companies, just so we don't talk about or promote their products in any way. Um, so I was working for them, and I realized I had a thing for the marketing aspect and market research, and it gave me, and I don't want to get too academic here, but it gave me at 22 years old, recently graduated, it gave me the power of decision. Like I was able to base myself on data and then be like, no, fuck you, man. This is what we're doing. Like this is not correct. So market research really allowed me to do so like at a very early age, and I had really like interesting meetings, and like it was pretty cool. So I realized I really liked marketing, and it was always in the back of my head that I wanted to do like a like a master's eventually. Not as soon as I graduated, because I was like, dude, I'm done. I've been going to school for like 5 or so years. Just wanna like work for a bit. But then eventually I was like, well, I think it's time to do the thing, do the master's degree, which I was gonna do here in Colombia, but I realized it was maybe a great opportunity to go off to España, tío, to Spain, and to do this in Barcelona. So yeah, that was it was basically just I didn't know I was gonna like this. It was basically like I fell into this really cool internship. It was pretty fun, and I was like, "Oh, this is actually pretty interesting. Let's dig into it." And so I did. Before, of course, my master's degree, I went on to work for market research agencies. I worked for advertising agencies from like around the world, BBDO and all of those, like the big names around marketing, which was it led me to wanting to do more and study a bit more and kind of like become a good marketer, if I may. I wanted to validate that with the academic part of life, if I may.
The masters, that was marketing.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, interesting. Philip Morris, were you around? I think this was before you. I don't think it was. You said 33, right? So I'm gonna say you were 5, maybe 10.
Yeah, I wasn't.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
no.
take a shot at this. Philip Morris? You weren't around during the whole Miles thing, were you?
No.
Okay. Do you know? Are you by any chance? Did you ever come across any of that? The Miles? Do you know what I'm talking about? With the
I,
Marlboro? Okay.
no.
Okay. So Marlboro, um, they printed on their packs right above you know where the barcode is? Right above the barcode, they would print 5 miles. 5 miles. I'm pretty sure everything was 5 miles, 5 miles. So every time you finished the pack, you would rip the side, you'd get 5 miles. Then they would release these catalogs of all of this shit that you could order. If you have 300 miles, you could get a tote bag. If you have 500 miles, you could get like a winter jacket. If you had 1,000 miles, you could get like a poker set.
You still have one of those
I
there?
have the poker set. I don't know if it's something that I can pull out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was like, I don't. Yeah, we don't do that. Not with these
Shit, let me
brands.
take
Not
a
with
quick
these
look. This
products.
thing might be buried. I think it's buried. I think it's in this stack of books somewhere. But they had, yeah, there it is. I see it. I forget it. It's all the way underneath everything. This Miles thing. Let me tell you something, bro. This was one of the most ingenious things I've ever seen done in all of marketing, because it drove everybody nuts. Everybody would be running around grabbing everybody's cigarette packs. Like you use these? You would be ripping the shit off. You'd be, I mean, literally running around in the street looking for empty packs, ripping these things off the side. And it created a frenzy because if you wanted like a tent. It was like 2,000 miles. Like if you wanted some of the best stuff in the catalog, it was 2,000 miles. I also have a small black box that I keep underneath my desk, where I stuff tons of marketing shit. Probably the best marketing things I've ever seen when it comes to magazines and you're turning the pages. I mean, it's more than marketing. It's art. And I got to have at least I probably saved at least 7 or 8 things from Marlboro because they always had the most incredible marketing products. It's just their way they would have advertising. I often say, Absolute, the Absolute ads, Absolute Citron, Absolute. The Absolute ads, one of their best marketing things that they ever did was you flip the pages, you'd always find the Absolute ads. They had Absolute Christmas, and no, excuse me, it was Absolute Wonderland. And there was a plastic sheet over the picture of the Absolute, and in this plastic sheet there was like fluid with like white snowflakes that actually were mixed with sparkles. And so you turn this ad upside down, and now people collected these things. These things, I mean, people were going nuts for this thing. And my father brought home, he's like, look at this. Isn't this interesting? I remember holding on to this thing. I saved it to this day. I still have it. I used to save all of these marketing ads because I would, it's good marketing will grab your attention, hands down. Great marketing will get you to take it and save it and pin it to your wall. And, you put it up on display. Like, this is like, you remember this shit. And I mean, with college kids used to collect all of the Absolute ads. You used to pin these things to the wall. Marlboro, man, I can't tell you how much. I didn't smoke, but I got so much shit from Marlboro, just from the mind. But I mean, this was like people went nuts over these things, and it was one of the best marketing advertising campaigns I ever saw. So I know you probably weren't around during that time, but let me tell you.
Yeah, no, not at all. But I know it was crazy back in the day. But I do remember other brands, of course, that we can talk about freely, and just wanting to collect some of their pieces, or remembering the moment you were at when they had a jingle, and some of those things we really value. I wouldn't say everybody, but the people that really care for this, um, we really value that. So we start, collecting all of these very limited things, because you knew they were only going to be
Right,
around for that magazine. They were only going to be around for that specific launch of that
right.
product, and that's why I give so much like value to merch. It's like every time I launch a collection, I'm like, I'm not doing those anymore. And yeah, I mean, eventually people are gonna say like, "Yo, this is the 2014 whatever jacket, shirt, whatever that Judasaca launched," and that's pretty to me. That's pretty cool because it makes it limited to the point that I collect merch from like anywhere. I've been dying to get one of those like McDonald's hats, the ones that the
Oh
guys that work
shit,
there,
yeah, bro.
and I'm like, fuck, I want one of those, but I want the one that the people work there. Because you can't access those unless you freaking work there. So you'd have to wait for one of those guys to leave their shift and then just take their stuff or something, knock them out to get their hat. So I value those things that have a story behind, that you're able to say, like, this is one of Zapata's pin, but it ain't just Zapata's pin. I have this right here. That pin was the one that he launched at his first solo show here in Bogota. He's not gonna make any more of these. So if you don't have one of these, it's like that's pretty cool, and it has a story to tell. So I really value the pieces of merch, the pieces of art um that I get to collect as it becomes a conversation piece, and I feel that's pretty awesome. It's like a picture, it's like a video, it's like it's something that will make you go back in time and be like, oh yeah, I remember who gave me that, or I remember where I was at, or I remember that was the first time I went to this place or that place. And the fact that you're able to link that further away from the product itself or service, in your case, like, oh yeah, I used to collect all these packs of empty cigarettes, and I wasn't even a smoker, but
Right,
it's a
right.
connection you have.
Yes.
It's a connection you have with a brand. It was like, yeah, you don't, and hopefully people did that with cigarettes. That way they wouldn't die. It's like hopefully people would just collect stuff like that. But it happens with a bunch of things. I have a friend, and you mentioned Absolute, and I was just thinking about that. And the way it connects to NFTs and like collecting really, um I would say limited pieces of something is easy for those to collect, and we like to collect. So when you said absolute vodka, and I believe that's what you were
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about,
yeah.
of of course, a friend of mine, she buys bottles of absolute vodka from all around the world, and she doesn't drink. So she has a like the most elaborate collection of full bottles of vodka at her house. And she doesn't drink at all. I mean, she would have probably a couple of drinks every now and then, but she's not a heavy drinker. But it's the way that one connects with people's whatever, be it art in this case, be it art in the sense of advertising, which is beautiful. Like some pieces, um, I just love to connect with, or the way it reminds. I feel to me, I'm very nostalgic. I'll say, and just good marketing, it allows me to go back in time and be like, oh man, that was. I remember when that happened. I remember when this happened. So that's the way I see it. Being able to connect things that weren't necessarily together, I feel that's beautiful. The fact that I think of Pepsi as a really cool brand because they had Michael Jackson back in the day,
Ah, yeah,
to
yeah,
me,
yeah.
that's fucking awesome. You know, that's not my generation. I'm not even part of
Did
that
you ever
shit.
watch
That's
that
for
movie?
what
There was a
movie?
movie on Netflix about the Pepsi generation.
Oh yeah, of
You know what
course.
movie I'm
It
talking
was
about? How much money they spent, and they just they started getting the select.
yeah,
Yeah, and
trying to get people to switch
yeah,
over, and it was like,
yeah.
yeah, it's not a taste related issue, and people might hate me for this. It's a generational thing. It's a cultural thing. It's not just like the product itself. And I feel when that happens is is really cool. And it happens with art, like artists. I'll say more than one, or than I would think. You know, and people, whenever I say I'm an artist, now people are like, oh yeah, great, because you worked in marketing, and I'm like, yeah, it's not the same. I used to sell products. In this case, not with the tobacco industry example, but I used to sell products that people need. You know, Coca Cola if you're thirsty, whatever. But art, and I know people would say we need art, but do not really, right? Like if you don't have a painting in your house, you don't die off of that. You don't need it to subsist. So I was like, it's really different, and the fact that it has every piece of art that you make is connected to me, and like the essence of the piece itself has really shown me a different way to connect with the people who collect my work, be it physically or digitally, or even collecting um or getting like a sticker or something like that. You know, it's some people just connect with it and they're like, oh, I want to get that. Do you have new stickers? Do you have new pins? Do you have new whatever? And I feel it's a really like strong connection from the collector or the viewer in this case, and me as an artist.
Um, man, I have a box. I'm gonna pull that shit out at the end of the show. I'm gonna show
Yeah,
you because
please
I have
do.
it right underneath my desk. But less about me, more about you right now. Okay, so okay. And I completely forgot about how good McDonald's was with all the Happy Meals and all of the
Okay.
marketing they did with all the Happy Meals toys. And people freak out about that shit too. That was the big thing back in the day, the Happy Meals.
I still do,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like I was just collecting the fucking Mario Kart things that they have in their Happy Meals. And I'm like, I'm glad I'm 30 something years old now that I can buy the fucking Happy Meal, and I'll eat that in two bites, and then I'll just get a regular meal because it's too small. But the mother lovers will not sell just the toy. And I insist, guys, we were five in the 90s. Make us get the little toy that we want in the big boxes. Make a Happy Meal for adult, for for real people, not just kids. And I still collect those. So I feel there is a connection, and I hope I'm not the only one now looking like a nerd here, but there's a connection for collecting and the limited stuff, and I feel that's something we share. We really talk about.
I have friends with rooms full of collections and little collectibles. People love collecting. I got crates here filled with Lego. I love Lego. I have the whole, a lot of different collections when it comes to Lego, but something with Lego. It's just, I don't know. So it's whatever you associate with, right? Okay. So, I got to bring this together. And okay, so let's put the marketing stuff and the business stuff on hold. Let's now bring it into 2000. So you were art. You were arting. You were creating art 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. When did the whole NFT world come into play? How did you get? How did you become aware of how the NFT world, NFTs, art, digital collectibles? How did that whole thing happen? Why don't you talk a little bit about that? And then I kind of want to bring the whole thing together. But go ahead. Why don't you, take it from there?
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, I was doing art 14, whatever, and then in 2021 we got accepted, and I say we because this is Usapata and myself. We got accepted, or like for this exhibition for Colombian artists in Miami. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I grew up there. I really want to go back to Miami and exhibit my art. It's my first international exhibition, and that was just like like a very important thing. So we went there, and it was pretty cool. I mean, it was Miami. It was 2021, so people were getting back to, realizing we were alive after the pandemic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was crazy. And then I had my artwork right next to another artist called Fabian Buitrago, also Colombian. He's doing a bunch of things on Bitcoin now, and like generative art and all of that. So that's pretty cool. So he told me eventually, essentially, he's like, "Have you heard of NFTs?" And I had heard of the term because of some other artists I would follow, but like I wasn't really paying attention to the whole NFT thing. So I was like, that sounds interesting in the way that he put it, which was linking NFTs and his real, or I wouldn't say real, but his actual artworks or physical pieces, right? So when he showed us that, that was October 2021, and he's like, "Yo, you guys have to get onto this. It makes a lot of sense for you." And I was like, coming back to Bogota, I was like, "Yo, you Zapata, brother, we have to understand this whole NFT thing." Um, it was like a huge bull run back in 2021, late 2021.
So,
So people were crazy about
so
this. Yeah.
you were friends before the NFTs.
Yes, we met through art. You Zapata and myself, we met through
That
this.
I never caught. Go ahead, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. I had the unfortunate fate of meeting you Zapata. No, I'm joking. I love that motherfucker. Um, we met at this Mickey inspired exhibition in that was probably March 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And that was a funny exhibition because, I mean, I love Mickey Mouse, it's what I do. But you Zapata back in 2021, he was still developing. He already had the Palometa, the pigeon, but he was still developing that. So I don't want to get too much into you Zapata's work, but basically, he did this Disney inspired series of three pieces. He put them together, he went to an exhibition, and we kind of hung out, and he
Oh
was like,
shit! I
"Yo,
remember.
what
I
are you doing
remember
here?"
them from his show. Yeah. Okay. So that's how you guys met.
Yeah, and he's like, "Yo, what are you doing at this? Like, what are you doing at this place?" And I was like, "No, I'm an artist. This is my art." He's like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. This is my first exhibition." That was like probably my second expo ever. So it was pretty cool to meet with him in that space. We didn't really become like the bestest of friends, It was like, "Yo, what's up? What's good?" We talked. We had a couple of beers, and then that was March, and then all the way until October that we had the chance to go to Miami. That's when we really like
Oh.
connected because we were in Miami just hanging out, going everywhere. It was like a good week that we were there. So that was when we learned about NFTs, and we were like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." So we get back to Bogota, and I guess that connected us. So it was like, "Yo, we have to do this, we have to do that." In terms of NFTs, trying to figure out what the hell that was, because if we say NFTs now, people are like, what is that? And I was like, yo, it's been 4 years, and the question's still out there. So, and that's something I'm very critical about, and it's the fact that we use too many weird and hard terminology for this shit. Like I don't know why we do that. It makes us maybe
Digital
feel cool. It's
collectibles.
like the marketing people.
Yeah, digital collectibles.
Yeah, like what the hell? And not only that, it's like there's a whole bunch of terminology that I'm just like, What? What? I got lost. And I'm in this world, you know. So I'm like, let's make this easier. Hopefully for people. So that's we got into NFTs and we were like, how do we do this? Like, can we like sell physical pieces and the digital pieces? And they were like, yeah, you could basically do whatever you want. And I guess that's what really opened up our minds. The fact that it wasn't like this is what you have to do, but it's more like Web3, and that's the way I see it. It's like there's a platform to reach a global audience of people that are already understanding this whole Web3 terminology and all of that and the benefits of it. And that was really like a really important moment of my art career because I mean, if we follow up through the conversation, I've had two exhibitions, maybe, yeah, like two or three expos before 2021. And after that, I mean, I've been blessed to have over by now like over 40, 45 expos in 4 years. So like what the hell? That wasn't happening before I got into NFTs. And it's not only digital arts, digital pieces that I've exhibited. It's the mix between the both, the two of them, the physical pieces and the digital world, going through like, you know, the murals that we've done, like graffiti work, the actual physical pieces and canvases that I've painted, and how we bridge those two worlds. So that's basically what I've been doing ever since I jumped into NFTs in 2021 October. It's been a while.
Okay. This is the fun part, right? So, um, you, the marketing, you still remain active, also, through teaching, but even more than that, um, did you ever imagine that the marketing would come into play with the art? Was that ever in your
I
mind, or was that just like some kind of like planets aligning type shit? Like how, you know what yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead, go ahead.
I do. It wasn't like definitely I saw it back in like whenever I started doing this. I would paint flowers and I love doing portraits and stuff like that. But there was always this satirical view of my art, you know, like I wanted to make that inside joke or that like I wanna I wanna put something in there that I know it's there, and it makes me, it doesn't have to be like you have to crack up, but it makes me laugh or it makes me feel like there's something malicious, not in a bad way, just in there. It made me feel like a little kid, you know, not too many rules. I remember back in when I was a kid, there were a bunch of rules. You know, it's like you can't do this, you can't do that. And I was like, man, there's a bunch of rules, man. You have to wait until you're this age so you can have a cell phone. You have to wait until you're this so you can do that. And I was like, that's a whole bunch of rules. And I feel art is freeing in that sense. In marketing, and even now, like you were gonna pull out this other, and I'm, yeah, we shouldn't do that, you know, because we're regulated now. But art, no regulation there. So it was like my free space of just thinking and placing it however I want, and it could be as crazy as a, how people would call it, like an evil rat or like an evil Mickey Mouse. And I'm like, the guy's actually laughing, but I love how people interpret it in a different way. But he did something bad, so he's like just cracking up in the corner, like, yeah, I'm gonna wait for people to see what I did. And basically it's just freeing in the sense that I can play with brands, you know, brandalism into my art without the need of asking like, oh, is this legal? Like, yeah, no, it's art, man. I'm just, you know, playing around, or I'm making a joke that I wouldn't be able to do in a massive advertising way, but I still can. You know, and so it's that inside joke of being able to place brands that shouldn't go together, or make critics about like the way we portray ourselves and the brands that we use, and how we go like, oh yeah, this is the brand that I like, and we start referring to brands as like with actual feelings. You know, it's like I hate this brand and I love this other. I'm like, what, man? This fucking logo. How can you hate this brand? Like, what did it do to you? And there's these all these connections to the brands, and we were just talking about that in the sense of how we collect and how this reminds us of things. And people have feelings towards brands like they do towards people or their dogs. It's like, fuck this brand. And I love hearing that because I'm like, what did they do to you? No, man, these guys, they did this and they did that and it wasn't good. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it goes from one person to the other. But the stuff that we do, the music that we listen to, um, I don't know, the places that we go to, it relates a lot of times with the brands that we use. It's like the other day in that conversation we had at Christmas, people were battling over cell phone brands. I'm like, who gives a fuck? It's like I don't care about cell phone brands. And they're like, what team are you on? And I was like, what? I don't know, man. You want to call
The
me?
famous Android Apple.
I don't give a damn about that. And even though I'm a marketer, I'm like, yeah, I don't. Do you really give all that value to that? I don't. There's some other aspects that I feel should spark more conversation, and is the way that we sell products and the way we market them and the way that we let kids not all the time know what they're actually buying when they're buying candy and stuff like that. I feel that we should inform our consumers a bit more about what the hell they're putting into their mouths. I'm not saying we should ban shit. I'm saying you want to get fucked up, here you go, but I'll fuck you up. Like, I'll let you know about it beforehand. And I feel we should, yeah, definitely in the whole world be more honest about the way we sell our products. I mean, we're marketers, we know what we're talking about, and we know what we're doing. So it's not like, yeah, oh yeah, my bad. I didn't know that was going to kids. It's like, come on, man. You created the fucking campaign. You've been working on this for 25 whatever years. You know what you're doing. So if you want to do right, I feel you could. And this coming from a guy that worked at a very dark industry, which is the tobacco industry.
Yeah, that's right. Let me tell you, they had the best marketing for a wicked product, man. It's cracked me up because they know how addictive it is and how it could become, and to make it turn, they turned it into a cool thing. It was a Joe, right? Wasn't that the Joe
Joe
Camel?
Camel, yeah.
Remember him? Joe Camel's
Yeah,
cool.
that's when they got banned in the
Yeah.
States. That's 1987, 1989 or something like that.
See, so you,
Somebody
yeah, yeah.
Somebody said, "Yo, if kids can relate," and this is a bunch of what I put into my work as I mix Marlboro, and you can see some of those hints into my work, but also Disney and stuff like that. And Joe the Camel was actually one of the things that they used. They said, "Look, a little 5-year-old kid or like 8-year-old kid can relate Joe the Camel to the fucking Camel brand of cigarettes in the same proportion that they can relate this little rat or mouse to Disney. So kids are not stupid, and neither are you, mother lovers. So come on, let's fix this. Like come on, man. It doesn't work like that. You need a base of people, to come into the business. I don't like putting it in those terms, but you do. And as often as they, stop living because they have this health problem, then you're like, oh shoot, we have no people left, and that's worryful if you're making a buck. So that's why I said, hopefully people will do what you did, and it's hopefully they would just buy these products and collect them instead of using them because it'll, eventually harm them until they're dead. So yeah, um, I do know about Joe the Camel, and I feel that's what I put into my work. I'm like, what would happen if we would market the bad stuff of products instead of the good stuff of products? It's like let people know what they're consuming, what they're putting into themselves, and yeah, and then let people make their own free choices. Like, but let them know what they're buying. It's not fair if you're paying for Coca-Cola and they put you and they give you a Pepsi. Like, yo, fuck you, man. That shouldn't happen. Let me know what I'm having.
So your art, right? Um, okay, I have a saying. I say it often. I say you could be the best artist on the planet. You could create some of the most fascinating, most exquisite art that anyone's ever seen. However, if nobody sees it, nobody knows it exists. Now, marketing is such a huge part of success when it comes to anything, especially social media. And now so many people have the ability to go on social media, TikTok, YouTube, X, IG, create a brand. Starts with a logo, then it's. But now more than ever, small videos, small 20-second videos, and so you have the ability to take the internet, create. I mean, take something small, a tiny little idea, and you could go viral across the world now. So, with the ability to do that, and then having that, marketing background, which is, in my opinion, the ace up your sleeve, right? It's great that your art is great. That's a plus. But the fact that you have the marketing engine behind your art. So, what are some of the ways? And this is where I think it really gets interesting, because you talked about AR a little bit. But what are some of the ways you applied the marketing end? And you know what? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Or if not, correct me. But did you apply the marketing to your, or how are some of the ways you applied your marketing skill sets to your art? Because your art does things, in some cases, your art has done some stuff that I've never seen other art do. I know the technology, but I haven't seen artists apply it the way you have, especially with some of the AR stuff. So, I mean, to me, this is like the perfect unification or the perfect combination, because so many people who don't know anything about marketing just take their art and they throw it out there. You have a little bit of a different perspective. You know a lot of the mechanics behind marketing, which helps when it comes to marketing your art. Maybe you could talk about some of the ways that you have applied your marketing abilities to your art. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead, man.
totally. I would say, I mean, it is different. Like when you do, like I did marketing for mass consumption products mostly. I worked with a bunch of brands, not only tobacco related products, but like Coca-Cola and Country Hill and like banks, and I did a whole bunch of different industries. So what helps me with that is how I approach my art process in a very professional way now. So it's not like just messing around, but it's like, oh, this is my approach now. So it's like a project, right? Every piece of art that I create becomes a project. It has a story behind it, and then I'm gonna find ways to share this with the world, and that has cost me a lot. Like I've been creating a whole bunch of reels on Instagram, and of course we're active on Twitter, and it's fun. I do have to say I've enjoyed it, even though it's kind of weird for me, and it was like just flipping the camera instead of showing, like every time I'll be showing only my art. In this case, is showing myself. So it's been a pretty um I would say interesting, but also like an introspective way of looking at what am I doing? Like what's the story I wanna share? Um and that's the way I apply it. And of course with AR, and I was thinking about this when you asked me the question, and hopefully I don't sound like an ass, like an a-hole. But it was cool being in Miami, especially now in December, and having people go up and be like, "Oh, you're Judasaca," and I was like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "I've seen your stuff. I've seen the way you make your stickers come out and play," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I have some stickers here," and they were like, "That's super cool. I love how that happens." So the fact that people are able to connect my bridge
Yes.
between like art and tech has been beautiful. It's happened a couple times before in Miami, but in Miami, especially this one time, in December during Art Week, I had a like I'll say a handful of people come over and be like, "Oh, so you're this dude," and then it was kind of cool to see that connection. What I used here in terms of marketing, was the fact that the first time that I saw this AR interaction with art was with a famous artist called Pez Barcelona, and he draws these, he paints these fishes, fish in Spanish, and they would move around like cartoons, and I was like, that's pretty cool. And when I asked about his paintings, about his artwork, he needed to download an app, which is no big deal. I mean, we do this all the time. But I realized in a marketing term that people were not willing to download an app just to play with the piece of work and then just download and then delete the app. You know, people have pictures to take, and maybe they will not have enough space in terms of memory on their phones. But I realized, and very impacted in a positive way, benefited from the pandemic, that people were now scanning QR codes everywhere, like every menu at every restaurant, at least here in Colombia. And I was in the States as well, in Florida, and people were doing that. You know, you have the QR codes. People were doing so now. So that's where I kind of connected the dots. You know, we have AR filters with the little dog ears and all of that we had on Snapchat early 2015, maybe 2016 or something like that. So people already like knew that we had some things that you could use with your phone, whatever that was. They didn't have a name for it because we were not calling that back in the day augmented reality. People, I mean, it was a name for it, but people wouldn't call it so. They would just say Snapchat filters, you know? And I connected that with, if people scan a QR code, it's going to send them directly to their Instagram stories, and they're going to, you know, play around with the sticker or the artwork. And now they're just one tap away from sharing with their friends. And that became a thing. People would share, and people started following me now because, you know, they would share like, oh, this is Judasaca's work. And people were now, and I want to say, proud of sharing like this cool thing they found. It's not like they've never seen that necessarily, as you said. Like, I've seen this, but I've never seen it used in this way. And I think that really created a like a like a divergence in terms of like not just AR, but this dude is using AR with like pieces of art, which was already there, but people were not able to see it. And that, the way I want to do this is I want to connect with what you said. Art has to be seen so that, you know, the right collector is like, oh, this is pretty interesting. And that's what I wanted to create. It was, I want people, and I hate this word, but I wanted people to engage in that shareability of my work. And it's the fact that maybe you don't like my work, but you still find interesting the interaction. So moms and dads and grandmas and kids were playing with it, regardless if they liked it or not. It was like, this is crazy, but it's cool. This is ugly, but it's cool. Or this is actually pretty cool, and I'm having fun with it. So I kind of wanted to hit that, you know, that checkbox of, oh yeah, I remember when I saw this. It was with this dude's artwork. You know, it was like taking creating that connection with people when they eventually see this again. And I've seen, and I've thought, and I've helped, and I have developed a whole bunch of AR filters for numerous artists, for like a bunch of people now in the Web3 space, and also Web2. And it's been crazy fun because now more people understand what this is, and people are able to play around and live. And I do say that in this case, not trying to be cliche, just live the piece of art. You know, it's like you wanna experience it. So in this case, you can with your phone that you always have in your hand, and you're always sharing shit with your friends. It limited to Instagram, but it's there. Yeah, go
Hang
ahead.
on.
Sorry.
Juan, do me a favor. Explain to everybody out there what we're talking about. I mean, you kind of touched on it with the ears with Snapchat, right? Or the filters or the face filters. But explain how what happens when you involve it in a piece of art and you point your phone to it, or what you can do with the technology, the marketing aspect. Maybe just give everybody a brief rundown on, the things that you can do with it.
All right, so I have this sticker right here. That's one of my latest pieces, right? So if you scan it with your phone, and this used to be done on Instagram, but they changed that recently. They removed filters from Instagram. So now I'm using Adobe Aero. So I'll be able to share that. I don't know if through here, but basically Actually, let me see if I can do that. Let me pull out this QR code and let's see if people can actually use this. Let me try something crazy here because I haven't done this in a while. But I want to see if we can share a QR code that's gonna send people off to where's this? Oh shoot. I don't know if I have it here now.
I'm actually glad the
Um
blur filter came down so we could see everything going on in the background.
I yeah, I didn't know I had that. I didn't know I had that. I thought it was automatic. But basically, if you scan your phone over this image, right, you would be able to see these things pop out in like 3D and stuff like that. So that was the effect that we had with augmented reality, right? It's like having something that's there and then adding, of course, a digital interaction through your phone. And of course, when we start talking about realities, right? Like virtual reality and augmented reality and mixed reality, we get to think of the headsets, right? The Apple Vision Pro and the Meta Quest. And a bunch of people, essentially in America, a bunch of people actually got these products, these headsets. Not so much down here in Colombia. And that was and I say this in terms of how I apply it at some of the marketing that I know about and into what I do. And I said VR is pretty cool, right? Like you're able to immerse yourself into a new world, if you may. But do you have a VR headset? And people will be like, no, I don't have one, right? So you're done. Phones, most people have a phone in their pockets, right? A smartphone by now. And and that was something I played with. Like I said, I could develop and I do work with that a bit as well with VR. We created this whole platform of like to promote artists internationally here in Colombia and other places as well through VR experiences, virtual reality. But I said, wait, I think if I do want to do this in a more massive approach or have a more massive approach to my art thing, I have to make sure that people are able to use it. And since people do not have VR headsets lying around at their houses, I mean, it was going to be too much. So I kind of, use the whole AR interaction. And this thing is changing rapidly. Like I know Meta at the moment is like they canceled their whole AR interaction on the actual IG on Instagram, but they're focusing on these like new glasses and all these crazy things. So I'm pretty stoked about what's gonna or like eager to find out what we're going for now in terms of like experience and interactions between what we do in regular day life and technology as a whole. So let's see where that takes us. But yeah, in terms of marketing, I realized that people had a phone that after the pandemic and these whole weird interactions we had, people were scanning QR codes. So I'll put my painting QR code right next to it and then people would scan it and then play with it and share it with their friends. I was trying to see if I find the QR the last filter I did, but I can't find it now. I wasn't it's not officially
But
it
let,
hasn't
let
been
me ask you
launched
a
yet.
question. If you hold that
Yeah.
sticker up, right, and I put my phone up against the screen, you think it'll scan it?
No, because you would need the link for that to happen.
Got you.
It's not automatic like it would happen with the QR code, which would be super cool. Like you just pull out your camera and then whatever image it took, it would just play around with it. We're not there yet. You would have to create an interaction with either like an app. That way you would open up the app and then you would scan my image and then something would happen, or you would have to link it up with a QR code. I'm pretty sure I had it. Let me see if I find it because I was working on this just recently to find like new ways of interacting with our art, and I found this other new thing called Adobe Aero from like the Adobe people, which is AR. Um, that's easy to use for everybody as well. But it's not on Instagram. Like I do have to be honest about that. Instagram was instant shareability. People would put it in their stories. They will tag me or whatever artist that were scanning, and it created like a good, I would say, word of mouth in that sense. Like you would put it in and you'd be like, oh, what is this? You would share it on your stories and stuff like that.
No
With
better
this,
marketing technique than getting people to. I mean, they say it all the time. Word of mouth is the best marketing you could ever ask for. You know, it says, check this out, yo, check out how cool this is, you know, and you tapped into that, right? There's so many people out there, so many artists out there trying to market their work just an average or normal way. And then here you are bringing in this AR and it's starting to, you know, people remember you. That's a monumental moment when they don't necessarily know your name, they don't know who you are, they don't know where you came from, but when they come across that piece of art, or they remember that thing jumping off the canvas, or they remember that experience you gave them where they were like, "Oh shit, this is super cool," and then they come out of the blue and they're like, "Oh, you're that guy." That's the best feeling.
literally, it does feel great. So I found the QR code. I know I had it. I created a whole folder for it. I'm gonna share my screen. I don't know if I can do this or should I send it to you so you can share it?
No, turn the wait. Does it pop out of the phone? You're gonna show the.
Yeah, and then I'll put up the sticker and hopefully it will scan it. How do I do this?
I was
Window?
gonna say, just turn the phone screen around and show everybody how when you scan.
Yeah. Let me see if this work because
Oh,
I
you
do
want to
have
know
it
how to
here.
share the screen? Would that be easier?
Yeah, if I could share the
Yeah.
screen, I can share the QR code. People could scan
Okay,
it,
there's a little button
and then
down
I'll place
below.
the
It's a
sticker.
square, and it has a little triangle in it. A little
Yeah,
X.
but I got like, what if I do my entire screen? Do I have it here? Is it there? Yeah. Okay, so this might work. Let me get this out the way, and then just come over here. Share my entire screen. There you go. And then that's the
Hang on,
QR code. So if you scan
I'm gonna
that,
give you the full screen. Hang on. Go ahead.
if you scan that QR code, it's gonna send you off to like it's basically a link from Adobe Aero, and you're gonna hit OK. And once it opens, give me a second, and then I'll share, of course, the other image, right? The other like the sticker image that I was showing you guys, so we can play with the AR. So I'll give a couple like a minute or so that people can scan this QR code. It should open up immediately and send you off to like a link. It's gonna prompt you to say like OK on
Okay,
something.
so right now I'm on.
Adobe
It
Aero.
says smiling. Ratsqueet. Uh,
Ratskiat. Yeah,
Blue crown created by Judasaca, but
perfect.
I'm not. It just says learn more, view supported devices. Do I have to download something?
I mean, it should let you use it right off
What do I hit? The
like the
learn more
web.
button or?
Yeah, maybe. I get a continue one
Okay, hang on. Get
when I
app
was
for
doing this.
free. Oh, maybe I have to download the app.
It wasn't prompting me. Let me see. It should open up right away on your.
Okay, apps installed.
Oh yeah.
All right, hang on. Let's try this. View in AR. Okay, let me pull this back. Yeah. No. Okay.
So let me know once you have it, and then I'll
Maybe I
share.
had to download. Oh shit! Put that back up one more time.
I still have the QR code. Do you get it? Can you see it? Yeah.
Is that you sent it in my XDM?
Oh no, let me send it to you.
Oh, you could. You want to put it back up on the screen?
I thought I had it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the screen went back to you. But yeah, definitely put it up because I bet you people watching will scan too.
Yeah. Let me see if we could do this like these two things at the same time. Let me see if I could organize this better. So Smiling Rat's Cat. Let me find this piece, which is the same sticker one. I'm gonna put them side by side, and then share my entire screen so people can play with this. So let's go. Let's do this like this. So you scan the QR code on the left, and then once it opens up, it's gonna prompt you to, I think, yes, download. I thought it was gonna play off um the like your web browser, but it's gonna download an app that's called AR from Adobe. It's right there on your app store. It should do it automatically almost. And then once you do that and you have your camera open, because it opens up the camera, you scan over the Mickey Mouse, and you should get like
Ah,
this
there he is.
interaction. You got
Yeah.
it? Amazing. I love that first reaction when people are able to do it on their own. It's like, oh yeah, that's the wow effect we so much talk about. So this one kind of pops out of the screen.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
gives
There he
attention
is.
to like the
Right,
detail,
right, right.
and yeah.
Yeah, there he is. There he is. Ah, that's cool. It gives it. It
I
gives it
love to see
that
people.
nice. It gives it that. Yeah, you can see him like, yeah, that's cool. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. That's cool.
You kind of want to put your hand in. You kind of want to touch it.
I
Like,
want
oh,
to show people how it works, but I don't think.
should I record a video and then we show that? We share a
Yeah,
screen here with
let's
that.
see. I got an idea. Let's see. I'm gonna just let's see. Only this time. Preparing. Yeah, let's go. Okay, hang on. I think what I'm gonna do is can I screenshot it. Okay.
You could record right at the top. You're gonna get a little camera there. It should allow you to record
Okay.
directly from it, so you don't have to screen
All right,
record from like your phone.
I got it. I'm recording. Whoop. Hang on.
But then I also have a good idea, and I'm gonna share my screen here with the video. Since I'm sharing my
Oh,
screen,
there you go.
then I guess people can see it
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. There you go. I don't have to show. I don't have to jam it in the camera no more. I was gonna show everybody my screen in the camera. Oh, look at that. That is cool shit.
So that's, I mean, it's a quick video, right? But that's basically how it pops out of the screen. And it sounds cliche, but that's exactly what I wanted to happen. And I want people to live that experience of like, oh shoot, it just something just popped out of my screen. What it's happening. And and as you said it, and literally it felt like that, like people would know about the interaction. I mean, some of my pieces have been in New York, thanks to like the sky, and they've been in Times Square, and this has been, shared around, and people like whenever they realize that I'm the guy that plays around with AR, they're like, oh, so this is
Yeah,
you,
yeah, man.
and that's pretty interesting.
That's got to
I
be I think you can't. So best marketing in the world, right there. Yeah, don't know your name, no idea where you come from, no clue who you are, but yet they saw a piece on the wall, they scanned it, it jumped out at them, and now you're that guy. Oh, you're that guy. Oh, you're that guy, right? And right, and so best marketing in the world, right there, is that response. Oh, I know. I didn't know who your name. I didn't know who you were. Right. Best feeling in the world.
it does feel great.
We're about an hour 20 into the show. How about we head over to the desk, and why don't we start showing everybody your art and everything that you got going on?
All right.
We'll do a nice run through of everything. Let's get everything set up and going. This way. Let's see here. Okay. Let's go. Let's open this up. All right. There we go. This. Comments. Oh, there we go. All right. Let's see. Hang on. Okay. We're gonna. You is tapping in over on IG, saying hello. What's up, you? Okay. Let's duplicate this. Let's bring you up here. All right. There we go. All right, we got your page up here. Hang on 1 second while I rechange everything. Full guest, full guest. All right, let's do this. Let's do full art. Full art. That's right. Okay. Let's knock that off. Let's bring up the webcam. Let's change this so you can see me. So you don't feel like you're talking to a screen. There we go. We got you there. An empty chair. We'll double this up. I'll move this over. All right. And then let's bring you up. Okay. So I have your X. But I don't want to start with your X. I want to go to your, I think your IG. Is it right? Yeah, I think we should probably, let's go. We got your link tree up. We got your X up. And then let's bring up your IG. And let's get down to the bottom here. Okay. And this way we can kind of scroll through everything, give everybody a good rundown of you, your art. Okay. All right. Let's see. IG started 661 weeks ago, May 22nd, 2012. All right.
Wow, how do you find that? I didn't know that.
No? Okay, so your first post,
660 something weeks ago. Okay.
Yeah, if you go to your first post, all the way down at the bottom, and you highlight the date on it, it'll show you the first. It'll show you the first day you ever posted. Yeah, down here, May 20. Yeah,
that was 13 years ago. I was young back then.
Yeah. So interesting.
Still in school.
So interesting, right? Because you actually see you venturing around the world, just like you talked about back in the day. So this is what I love. You know, this is the one thing that I do love about IG, is that you can actually, we sit here, we talk so much about, everything that everybody has going on, but then you go to their IG and you start bringing it up, you start looking at the dates, and all of a sudden the dates start matching everything. It starts matching the story, and, it's just,
the color to it.
Yeah. Like, I feel like 2014, well, we're in 2016 already, but I feel like we're about to see maybe one of the first paintings pop up. But this is Utah.
There you can already see like some of my interest in art, and I love the fact, if you go back to that one piece with the indigenous lady there on the wall, I got to work with this guy. His name is Guache Oscar, and I feel he's like a very talented muralist from Colombia. So the fact that I was going out to downtown Bogota to find one of these pieces that has been in various books that talk and expose Colombian street art, and then being able to work with the dude later on, just a couple of years after, it's insane. It really fills my heart, man, I do have to say. And that's my best friend from life and school, Juancho Marquez. I think he was out there. So yeah, pretty cool picture. I hadn't been into my first post in a while, if I'm honest. So this is pretty cool.
I love this part because it's interesting to watch the art start to come in to someone's life, to the first post, and you're like, oh, look at that, right? And so you said 2018 you started getting really serious. So around 2018, I expect to see your art starting to pop up. But interesting, because you're taking pictures up against murals, right? And so there's some attraction there. There's some like to it. The pictures of you against the whales, the murals, and even it's like, I'm gonna go as far as saying even the pool looks like the mosaics. You found a good picture in there up against some art. But it's always interesting flicking through someone's IG, because you could see the influence starting to pop in. You could start seeing, right? And next thing you know, it's like, oh, look, see, like, you're not sitting on any normal wall. You had to sit on a wall with a mural on it, right? So there.
Gaudí.
Yeah, there it is, stewing. 2017. and I feel like soon I feel like it's gonna go from you to your artworks. And then
I do start posting more about it. I used to have this like art IG called Judasaca.art, but I got rid of that. So eventually I merged it all together into my Judasaca um IG. I mean, that was traveling around Barcelona and like the whole experience while I was there. That's in Andorra. That's the master's
is there
degree.
a lot of
That's
question?
real.
Let me ask you a question. Is there a lot of street art in Bogota?
Oh man, it's packed
Really?
with street art. Yes, it's out there with one of like the main um capitals of street art, around the world. That's Chuper Negra. There's a beautiful restaurant right in front of that mural that I love to go to in downtown Bogota. And I mean, that's his art. And I have a piece of him here in my house as well. In Cartagena, that's Ju Zapata's birthplace, a place I had the chance to live in when I was growing up as well. That's Bogota, Paris, and other cities.
Panama, the wooden sculpture.
Panama. Yeah, cause, so of course I like what he does as well.
Okay, Colombia, Bogota, 2019. You
I love dogs.
you could see it coming. You know what I mean? Like too many photos in front of art, and now I feel like it's. I think it's gonna. I think this has to happen this way, because I feel like we're gonna write you, but then I think I feel it's gonna be interesting seeing the first piece pop up, because that's when. Oh wait, first expo, right?
Yeah, it comes, it comes,
All
it
right.
comes. I mean, you can see the build up,
Yeah.
and then boom, it's like now I'm here.
So first expo 2021. First yeah, here it is. Here we go. He says, I mean, I'm sure it's been culminating in the background, but yeah, the dates all coincide, right? Okay. So your art, right? Physical. You're physical, right? But also any digital involved. I mean, digital aspect in AR terms, but what are you? I'm gonna say broad spectrum, which is everything across. Are you digital? Are you physical to digital? Do you just hang out in the physical world? Have you messed with digital?
Yeah, I go back and forth. I mean, a big part of my art has to do with sketching.
Okay.
I like to
All right.
sketch. I like to scribble. I like to like just play around on paper, and I love the texture that you get from like scribbling and using paper, and I mean pencils and stuff like that. So that's where a lot of my art comes from. It was easy. I mean, you had paper in school, you had paper at uni, you had paper everywhere back in the day. Um, and it was fun. And I do have like blocks of paper just with scribbles and ideas and stuff like that in my studio here, like around the house. But eventually I started realizing that was too much paper that I was using, way too much paper. So a good friend of mine had bought an iPad, which I found pretty interesting. Of course, I'd known iPads for a while, like tablets, but he bought an iPad and he bought the Apple Pencil. He got one of the first iPads that had the Apple Pencil thing. And when I saw that, I was like, "Oh man, that's pretty neat. I think I could use that. I can use that for what I'm doing now." And that's where I started combining these two. I'll say crafts. Like I love to scribble, and even in my iPad, I still paint like it's a uh like a notepad. I like using it like that. It's my way of getting, I'll say, involved with the piece that I'm working on and giving it like my approach. So I start scribbling and just doing it over and over again until I decide to go on and do it on a wall or like a big piece of canvas or anything at all. But I do play with these too. Sometimes I would even like draw stuff and then take pictures of it and then take it to digital and I'll go back and forth. So I'm pretty open towards like new mediums. I'll like spray cans and oil paints and now I've been using a lot of um like markers. So that's pretty cool as well. We had we got sponsored. I got sponsored by Sharpie, so that by Newell's brand. So that was pretty dope. And I've been interacting a lot more with different mediums in general. I love textures. That's my thing.
The neon eyes are dope. That was a good job with the neon eyes. Is this when you first started messing around with AR?
No, that was a really cool idea that I had because I did this. This is one of my first pieces that I actually did digitally first, and then I went on to the canvas. So I had the idea of making the eyes, light up as a like a neon sign, and I was like, well, that's pretty cool and like and easy to do if you're working digitally. And then I was like, how the hell am I gonna get this to be physical? Like I was like, oh my god, I don't know how to do this. And I mean, probably now I wouldn't have done it the way I did it, like in terms that I actually found the tube, the neon tube, and I fixed it and I bent it and I placed it there and I put a whole bunch of silicone on it, like so that it was thick. And it was like a whole issue, I actually did that on my own. Maybe now I would ask somebody to do it, like help me out so it looks great. But just the fact that I did this with my bare hands and I was over to like a friend's house and I was like, dude, I need you to help me with the electrical part of it. I need you to help me like um to like use the soldering parts for this. And so I would drive around Bogota with this huge painting. It's a 4 feet by 4 feet painting canvas. And it was like, dude, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, this is the way I envision it. And that painting got bought by this really weird, in a good sense of weird, like this really cool, interesting collector that for some reason he doesn't have Instagram or Facebook or nothing like that, but he had a beautiful apartment here in Bogota and he bought it off of this platform I used to work with. And I realized he was here in Bogota, so I was like, "Oh shoot, I don't wanna go and ship it. I would love to actually take it to that guy's house myself." And he was pretty happy about me taking and delivering the artwork um by myself. So like he was pretty happy about that. We had a chat over like art and stuff and I went on with my day, but that was one of my most relevant paintings so far. That's one of the first graffitis we went on and did here in Bogota.
So let me ask you a question. The painting, did you find a way to? Is it standalone or does it need to be plugged in?
It needs to be
Okay,
plugged in.
I was just curious about if you found the way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
okay. I was just curious.
I thought about having it with
Right,
batteries,
right,
but then it would like people would have to
right,
replace them
right,
every
right,
now and
right,
then. So
right.
no, I made a really seamless small
Okay.
cable that would come out of the behind the canvas and yeah, and the guy installed it pretty nicely as well at his house. So that was pretty cool.
A lot of times you talk about, and the name of the show, really interesting, brandalism, right? Maybe you could talk a little bit about what brandalism is.
So brandalism is basically, I mean, it kind of comes off the name or the concept itself is vandalizing brands, right? So in my case, I use Philip Morris's Marlboro roof, and I put it together with um this very famous rat character known as Mickey Mouse. I was talking earlier about Guache and the on the piece of artwork from the indigenous lady. That's the one you're showing now on my IG. That's the event we had with them. So that was pretty cool from taking pictures in front of their murals to working with them and exhibiting my art next to these like really important figures in the art scene in Colombia. That's like amazing. It really is something I'm really proud of.
Oh shit, I lost get back to that and keep going. I feel like this is the creation of Judasaca. All right, is that the first collab between you and?
That was one of my first collabs. I did that with this Mexican dude there. Oh, but yeah, this one that you're showing now, this one is in Bogota. One of our first murals, not our first murals, but one of those. I mean, we've gotten way better. This piece
It's
is not
crazy
all that
because it's
great.
not that long ago. It's only it's two
It's hot. It's
it's
hot.
only maybe like two and a half years ago. Well, 20. Let's see, 22 September 22. So yeah, it's about September, October,
Doing something
November,
years,
December,
like 2 years.
January. So it's about 2 years and 5 months. But look at how far you guys have come, which is mind blowing, right? How far you guys have come in 2.5 years, which just goes to show. You did mention before about and the NFT digital collectible, entering that world. Do you feel jumping in that world is well? I mean, you said it once before, but I'll ask you again. Do you feel that jumping in that world really? Because I've often, I'm gonna let my cat in while I talk to you, but I've often said that it's a lot of people are like, well, I'm not the sales and this and marketplaces are going up and they're going down, and you never know what's going to happen, and so there's a lot of uncertainty, and let's not forget about the whole crypto is evil and you're going to get robbed and so forth and so on, and there's so many scams and this and that. But what I did tend to find was that in the NFT digital collectible world, there was a lot of eyes and a lot of attention, especially during that whole Beeple thing, that brought a lot of the real art world into this world. Not only that, but the real art world said, oh my gosh, look at all these artists and look at all these submissions and look at all these new people that we get, all this new, let me tell you something. For a gallery that's stagnant, that's trying to find new art for their walls, stumbling into the digital collectible NFT world back in 2020, 2021, introduced you to a whole brand new collage of artists that were probably, under the radar, never had any attention. And so now here we all are in spaces talking and showing off our art. And so in my mind, the NFT digital collectible world, even if you didn't make a sale, there is so much activity going on, especially from the real art world, that it's so easy to move into the real art world when you make the right connections, you go to the right places, the right shows, just so many opportunities and events, submissions, and just from networking, right? Being at the right place at the right time when all this shit was blowing up. And you did mention it, but this whole world did bring a lot of opportunity. Did it not? Or do I have that right?
Yeah, man, totally. Like, I'm still trying to get over the fact that my art was exhibited during Miami Art Week in Miami, and that we did a mural, which is physical stuff. I painted a mural, and my artwork physically was exhibited in Miami during Miami Art Week. Having a mural in Wynwood at a gallery is insane. So none of that would have happened if it wouldn't have been for NFTs. So it's not only, and I do say this with like a lot of respect, it's not like falling in love only with the NFT stuff or like the physical stuff, but it's understanding that at least I think of myself in that sense, and is that I'm a creator, so I'll create in different, of course, um, Web 2, Web 3, like in different aspects, but I know what I want to do. I want to create. I like painting physical pieces of artwork, and combining those two worlds has allowed me to take my art to like a new level. I believe, and I say that with like humbleness. You know, I've been able to get my art out of Colombia to the States, to Mexico, to Portugal, to Spain, to Barcelona that we've been. Um, we even got some physical pieces out to Japan. We've been back to back in New York exhibitions. Um, there's stuff that's happening in like I don't know now, like in Bogota, Medellin, and Cali here in Colombia. So it's just been like this great catalyst that has helped me to connect to like a broader audience, and I couldn't be more thankful about it. And also, and I do say this with a lot of also like love and respect for Ju Zapata, and I talk a lot about him um because if I mean it's been a hell of a ride. It's been fun, most of it. I'll say 95% of the art stuff that I've done in the past 5 years has been incredibly amazing. And most of that I've gotten to share with Luis Zapata. So he's like the art, like the brother in arts, as I like to say. And then finding people such as Luco, which I have some of his art here in my studio, creating the art cartel, Colombianos, like Colombian kids trying to do whatever the fuck they want to do, which is pretty cool. And then we get to connect with this huge community of One Love, which is leaded by Jenny Pepin. So all of these opportunities that have come to be from art have emerged from the Web3 experience. Like it definitely has. Of course, a bunch of this has to do with like hard work. And I remember talking to Ju Zapata about like, yo, this is great. Look at these things that are happening. And he's like, yeah, of course. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, man, we've been working for this shit. So it tends to happen. Like if you put in the work, you would eventually get some stuff back. And it's been great. I still look at what I do with my art as something that makes me feel like free. That's the word. Like I could just do whatever I want, and I'm not an artist in the sense like I didn't come up in or I didn't go to school for arts or I wasn't like instructed in arts, but I like painting stuff and I like connecting with people and creating different experiences and like engaging in conversations about like what the hell is this and where is it taking us and how does it make us feel and that's what I'm all about in this art stuff like it and Luco said it today. It's about having fun. Like I just want to have fun. So it brings me back to being a kid and like going to all these and I put it in quotations all these parties which is actually a lot of work every time we're out in Miami or like Bogota here, any exhibition or New York. It's crazy the amount of work that we have to put in and the events that you go to. And yes, of course, we're having a couple of beers and we're having fun. We're artists, fuck it, but we're still making connections and all of that has happened through Web3 and being able to create those bridges that links it up and back to my physical pieces, physical work. Yes,
I,
totally great
I
catalyst.
like the combination of the paint and the neon. Yeah. This is what a great combination. Um, very cool, especially to see it finished and lit like that. Yeah, really cool stuff. All right, hang on. I'm flicking. Let's see, 68 weeks. Um, has the what question do I want to ask here? I got so many questions packed up. Um, so many opportunities, right? They've come from this NFT digital collectible world. What in your opinion, what do you feel like is the most what's the best thing that's happened so far in your art career?
Wow, great question. I do have to say is there's been two moments,
Okay.
and one of those was Most definitely 2024 last year. Being in New York, 2023, sorry, the first time I was in New York. It felt surreal. It felt like, I mean, I come from a small town in Colombia, and just like standing there and looking around and be like, oh my God, I'm in New York. And I had been talking about that for a couple of years before 2023. I was like, oh, I should do something in New York. I was there in 2020, and I was like, oh, right before the pandemic, and I was like, I really want to go back there and do something. And I guess I called for it, and when I was there, that was pretty exciting. And then I do have to say, 2024, last year, just being in Times Square, and I remember it was kind of raining, it was kind of cold as well back in April of last year. And I remember I went away from the crowd. We were all there, like all of our friends and people and collectors and all of that. We were there in Times Square, and I just moved away from the crowd for a second to sort of just take it all in. I was like, what the hell is this? I mean, this is like the shit you see in the movies, essentially. If you come from Colombia, or if you don't live in New York, it's like it's that city, it's all like, well, New York, where's that at? Nobody's ever asked that question. We all know where it's at. We've all seen it, even if we haven't been there. It's some sort of Los Angeles, for that matter. And then December, this past December, we were in Miami, and I was able to paint a wall, like this huge mural, the biggest one I've done, and the coolest one I've done as well. I love that finished piece with next to my good friends Luco and Judasaca. So imagine how cool that was. Like, the art cartel is now going places, and Miami is one of those, in Wynwood, and we were able to paint our first mural, like official mural, in Wynwood next to Atomico, all thanks to Jenny Pepin. So that was that moment of like, wow, what? I used to come to Wynwood to take pictures with El Pez Works, and El Pez, he's a good friend now, and I thank him for every like piece of advice that he's given me. Cool dude. And I'm like, wow, now I get to hang out with these guys, Now I get to, learn from them directly. And yeah, I would say I'll sum it up to those two moments. Like, the moment I had my art being showcased in New York, essentially this last year, that I was able to be there with my mom. That shit felt like a dream. And in Miami this year in December, actually my mom was also there. So props to my mama. She must be asleep by now because it's late, but she knows I love her.
I was bringing up the mural from Miami. When it comes to painting the murals, and when it comes to it's how different is it when it comes to doing it on the screen, to doing it on a canvas right in front of you, than to doing it big? I mean, I got to imagine there's some got to make some room for correction there, right? So what? Yeah, maybe
Totally.
you want to talk about some of the difficulties when it
It's,
comes to. Go ahead.
I mean, and we've talked about this now, but I was really intrigued by the spray paint and graffiti work and all of that. So of course I didn't start there. I started doing canvases and paper. And when I first took the chance of going out and painting this, like in the streets, it was like, wow, man, this is really freeing. I felt like I could move around how I wanted, and if I messed up, I would just spray paint over it, and it wasn't that much of a big deal. And it's just freeing, and I do have to say that's the word. It's, you feel free, but it's illegal. So if you go out in the streets, you must have permission, right? Hopefully, ask for permission. Most people will say yes. And then in Bogota, we're pretty open about this. Like, um, yes, eventually you'll get fined and stuff like that, but if you ask for permission, there shouldn't be a big deal. And the police are very decent about this, even though it wasn't like that back in the day. We have a very sad story about a kid here in Bogota, graffiti artist. He goes out with his friends. He's underage, and he's painting, and then a cop, whatever, I don't know what happens, and he ends up shooting the kid. Right, the kid then dies, and Bogota and the whole country was like, "Yo, what the hell, man? Like, you can't shoot a kid because he's vaping. Like, it doesn't add up, brother. Like, it doesn't go like that. You shoot him if he's doing something illegal and he's shooting back at you, but not if he's spray painting. Like, it's not that. You might want to just find the kid or his parents." So that sparked a conversation about, hey, should we allow the public space to be painted on? And I'm not the best for this, but it kind of allowed this gray area of like, yeah, I mean, you shouldn't, but if you want to paint it, we're not going to shoot you, sort of deal, and that's where it stands. So Bogota is pretty open about, and it promotes a lot of the street art, which I really enjoy. I don't consider myself a graffiti artist, but I do consider myself a street artist that every now and then would go in, take his pieces and portray them on the streets. It's cool, and I use them as advertising. I call it the La Ruta de las Ratas, the route of the rats, or the rats route, however you want to call it. And there's a bunch of graffiti work if you come from the airport all the way to my house here in Bogota, and it's a route I normally take when I go to the airport. So when I'm going to or coming back from the airport, I'll be like, "Oh, look, somebody painted a very similar rat to the ones I paint here on this particular wall in the street." Very legal, right? All legal, everything. So yeah, it's part of it. I really enjoy painting out in the streets. It's kind of crazy too. You're like, "Oh my God, I don't want nothing to happen to me," and it's just like a big, huge canvas. Now, that's if you're doing a small piece. I'm not gonna say I'm a muralist now, like not even close to that. But then that big wall in Miami, oh my God, this was not. It was not a walk in the park. It was like it was pretty tough. We had limited tools. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I had a stair. How do you call this? A ladder. Sorry, not a stair. I had a ladder, and I would move around, but I was very limited. And then eventually, when I went on to finish it, we have scaffold, so that really helped. But it's tough. It's tough. It's actually pretty um demanding. That's the word.
You know what I like about you and you? You know what I like about you guys? I like the fact that you guys are heavy into merchandise, marketing merchandise, pins, shirts, sweatshirts. We flick through a lot of your hooded sweatshirts with the AR on the background with where he pops out. Oh shit. Jesus, we're almost at 2 hours already. You have to be somewhere. Are you all right to go for a little longer?
I'm okay to go on. I don't have to go anywhere,
All right,
man.
all
It's
right.
11 at night.
You want to talk a little bit about merchandise and the
Yeah,
importance of it?
that that's a cool topic. Totally. So we kind of already tapped into this conversation, but going more deeply into it, um, merch to me defines like specific moment in history, let's call it, right? So the Coca-Cola bottle used to be only this way until 1983, and then it changed to this other thing, right? And eventually, and I love these exercise that we did, Mark. It was pretty cool going back to Instagram and seeing how the art comes into my life more vividly. Um, I hope eventually, in the like when times comes to be, that I can look back into the merch that I've created and see the evolution of my work. So, like, oh, the merch that he was having during his first expo, and look, I have one of the pins that he launched for the first exhibition. So I'm very, very into merch because of how limited it is. I've created very limited editions of every piece that I've created. Now I'm working with the NFT NYC people, and I'm gonna have merch all around, like all year round. But of course, there's some very specific pieces that are gonna have that um, essence of being very limited, very unique in terms of like time and place. So yeah, I'm very big on merch. I've launched, I think, if I'm not mistaken, like 4 or 5 hoodies already. So yeah, I mean, t-shirts as well, which I use them for myself. It's like it's what I like to wear if I'm going to events. I don't wear it every day, but I like my own merch, of course, is something that I would wear. So I've been working a lot on that. I've also jumped into doing like notepads and stuff like that with my merch. So it's more reachable, I guess, for some people. To get one of these. It also goes with stickers that have AR. You mentioned it, the animal pins, also, and this was a really cool idea that we had for NFT NYC, which was postcards. You know, like hey, we should send out postcards for people. Like oh, I was in New York or whatever you want to put on a postcard. It was something people would do back in the day, and we wanted to bring that back, and we created these that would go on. To be sent out to people all over the states, also here in Colombia, or with merch and stuff like that. So I'm very big on it. I'm very big on not only my merch, but also collecting merch from my friends and fellow artists and like tote bags. I did tote bags, t-shirts, hoodies, and it's something I'm very big on. Those go out quick also. Like if I launch like a 12-piece collection or like a 24 like a the 2 dozen t-shirts, they normally go off pretty quick. So yeah, big on merch.
You make some nice. It looks like you put together some nice little merch packages, especially that you're sending out with the stickers. And yeah, I love. I'm a big fan of all of that. And so every time I see you and you Zapata going at it with these things, I'm like, yeah, that's the right way to do it. um, real life art world. Excuse me. Real life art world compared to the digital art world. Um, what are your thoughts on how that's
Yeah, I'll say Web 2, Web 3,
okay?
not
Yeah, yeah.
necessarily separating these two, but I love the art world. Like I love going out to shows and galleries and stuff like that. It's something I really enjoy. Um, but it tends to be like a very closed, I'll say, group of individuals.
Okay.
Everywhere I've been, like if I've been to various cities, and whenever I go check out their art scene, it tends to be very like clustered, like very small, and like you have to know somebody sort of deal. I feel that I wouldn't say the digital art world, but the whole Web 3 sort of um, approach is is more about community building, which is different from the other art world. So here there's great art, and there's a chance to like meet other artists, which I feel it doesn't necessarily happen on the physical art world. Like artists have friends, not artist friends. Like you don't hang out with only artists. I mean, it's weird. It's like it doesn't only happen like that. You have friends from all over. So this whole like interaction and the IRL events or like events in real life have really helped to make those connections and make them feel real. And I say that because like we're always hanging out on Twitter and like on even though we put on our cameras and we're able to see each other, once we get to hang out, it's like, oh, now this is my bro. It's like I've seen him, I've traveled around, and it really connects. So art world physically is cool. It's sometimes a bit like I'll say elite, not in a bad way, just like oh, this is not for you sort of deal. And I feel that the Web3 space and community building part of the Web3 has allowed like a more um I'll say inviting art scene. It's like, hey, come on over, we're having fun, instead of like, oh yeah, who are you? Who invited you? And then if you're cool, you're cool. But normally it's like, oh, but no, wait, let me look at your credentials first. It's like, how the hell did he? Who do you know? Who's your friend here? Web 3 space is more like, oh, what do you have to offer? They're actually interested in, and like, oh, so you're the dude with the AR? Yeah, come in, man. We're having fun. This is insane. We have the pigeon dude. You want to hang out with him? It's like, yeah, I mean, as long as they're cool and they are. It's kind of like how it's been. So both of these worlds have opened and created magnificent opportunities for me. So I love them both, and the fact that we have been able to bridge these two through like virtual reality interactions, in which we would have a physical exhibition and at the same time we have a virtual exhibition. That's pretty dope. Like the fact that we, at least in Colombia, and I do take this as something I have helped to develop here in Colombia, is the fact that we're offering these opportunities, like these interactions from digital, from art and tech, which is pretty cool.
The neons. Have you been well, I should say, is it a collection, the neons, or is it like whenever you feel like how? I are they? Did they all sell out?
They did all of these.
I knew they would.
Yeah, we did this really cool piece, which was the first one we were talking about, the one with the eyes.
Right.
And a good friend of mine, Maria Paula Alzate, she looked at this and she said, "Wow, that's pretty cool." And she went off to include a neon, add on to one of her pieces, which she sold at our show she had here, like one of her first solo shows here in Bogota. And and then she said, "Hey Juan, what if we do a piece together?" And I was like, "That's pretty interesting," because she's very abstract in her works, and I do a lot of abstract work, but not when I'm doing Mickey Mouses. It's more figurative, so it's like on there. And I went on to her studio one afternoon, and we chatted. And I mean, I love Maria Paula Alzate. She's beautiful. I know she's not watching me, but if she ever does, she knows I love her. I was at her house earlier today, and I was at her studio, and she was like, "Juan, I have this round canvas. Do you think we should go at it?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go." And she's like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, we're at your studio, so we have a bunch of materials. Let's go for it." And we started painting into what she calls a painting made by four hands. In Spanish, it sounds a bit more romantic. Una pintura a cuatro manos. You know, it sounds like you're fucking, I don't know, some sort of ritual. And I was like, Maria Paula, this is so cute. Like I've never considered doing a collab with you, not because of it's like you yourself, but like because of our styles are so different. And we were able to merge that with the neon. So we added a neon crown to a Mickey piece, and they to a mini. My bad. It wasn't a crown. It was a we did a bow over a mini, and somebody fell in love with it. We exhibited that here in Bogota. It sold, and then eventually we got commissioned to do the Mickey like pair of this piece. So that was pretty cool. Like I felt it was I would say it's a series that has a lot to do with Maria Paula and how we find light through everything. We have talked about this conceptually, like how why would we use neon? And it's because we put a lot of um stuff into our work. Like talk to your artist friends. They have a lot of shit to say. And normally we can't or we don't know how to do that. And we do it through our art, right? Whatever we put into it. So I do a lot of expressionism in my work, which shows, that I want to say something. And in Maria Paula, she uses a lot of expressionism in her abstract work. So I feel all of that matter gets to shine through neon colors. Wow, I just got deep in that. But yeah, basically, it looks fun. It looks cool as shit. And we decided to do a couple pieces together with neon. And yes, they sold. They sold right away. Thank
The
God.
piece that you're talking about, is that the one with the yellow crown that you guys?
Yeah, we did one with the yellow crown. It's like a blue. Oh, sorry. A blue background, and then we did a mini mouse.
Okay. So
Yeah,
both of you guys worked on the Minnie Mouse with the pink, and then the yellow crown with the yeah. Those are nice. You should have you created anything with the neon recently, or any thoughts?
I haven't done neon in a while now that you
Oh
mention it,
shit!
and I feel I should.
I
I feel
feel
I
you
should.
should too. I don't know. I don't know what you're waiting for. NFT,
I should be.
NFT NYC 2025 is coming. You need to unveil. You know.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I'm gonna take this as inspo. Yeah, I
I'm
should add
telling
more
you, I feel
on
like you're
neon.
due for
Let's do
one,
that.
and that would be nice to see up at NYC. Um,
Yes, sir.
okay, so we have a couple more links here. I don't know if anything should I show the one hub? Yeah, let's show the one hub. We'll show one hub. Oh,
So one hub is, and as it opens, um, a great achievement for myself, as we started off with NFT NYC. This is from the same people from NFT NYC, NFT Cred, and they called me and said, Juan, and I became really good friends with them. And if you guys are listening to this, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. You guys have treated me um and have given me my space and NFT NYC, and I'm thankful for that. They've been quite nice. So they called me up in Judasaca and they told us, hey guys, we're having a pool of artists, right, to start launching and piloting our new one hub. And they said, what do you think it should have? So it wasn't like this is our new application, try to figure it out, but it was more like um let's co-create this. So we were able to talk with them and give them feedback about everything that we've done and how we feel that it should work as artists. And I'm in love with this. It finally combines everything, every single one of my collections. You can see it there. You're putting it on IG. Is out there, and I'm like, wow, this is truly the place. So they're gonna open up a shop. They're still setting that up, and I'm gonna be able to sell my merch through them and deliver it essentially to the like American market, but everywhere in the world. So it really allows us to dedicate ourselves to do what we do best, which is art, and then we can partner up with people like the NFT NYC guys that help us to spread the word around. So I feel that's the way this should work, and I'm truly honored to be part of NFT NYC and the One Hub and to promote this use or this new way to engage with artists. You can subscribe to my page. It's like a YouTube channel almost, and you have a free subscription model. You have a $1 subscription model and a $10 subscription model, in which you get benefits in terms of NFTs, in terms of like care packages, as I like to call them. You get probably some merch, some sticker packs, discounts on merch and stuff like that. So all of that it's what's gonna be launched for NFT NYC. So I'm really hyped about that, and the fact that it's all in one hub, literally, that's the name of it. So it's all in one. Um, my piece for NFT NYC this year, it has to do with a summer in New York. It comes from a very famous song that, funny enough, a famous Puerto Rican artist, Bad Bunny, just kind of refreshed it, which is Un Verano en Nueva York, a summer in New York. So we're going in June, which is
right.
almost
That's right.
summertime
It's
in
in
New York.
June this time. Yeah.
It's so
June's
so
hot,
I
bro.
wanted to play with that. Yes, everybody talks about that. Like they're like, oh, but you're gonna be in New York. I'm like, yes, but I'm not gonna be taking Ubers everywhere. And every now and then, I'm gonna find myself in the subway, and it's gonna be hot as hell. And it's not that fun of an experience. I lived in Europe for like 2 years, and during the summer, it sucks. Like you don't want to be down there at
It's
all. So yeah, I can't complain, but I would enjoy my time in New York. Definitely.
so okay. I have your open sea. I opened your open sea. I have your open sea up, but we also got to take a look at it now. You're saying one hub imports everything that's everywhere and brings it. Is that what is? If do I understand this correctly? Oh, okay.
Yes. So they take every what do you call this? Every crypto, every wallet that you have. I mean, if you connect it to that, and then it just pulls it right off.
Okay.
and then people are able to go to one link and then be like, oh, I like this piece of art, and then it would just redirect you to every any marketplace
Okay.
instead of having to like go to that marketplace and find Judasaca, and then it's like, oh, here he is. This one pulls it all together. It does have some issues. I was like, when you pulled it here, I was realizing that some still say like, oh, content not or preview not available. That's because they're still working on like showing and bringing and pulling all of these different platforms into one. So it's. I mean, I bet it has some I'll say margin of opportunity to grow and fix some things that they have. But the fact that this has changed so much in 2 or 3 years, it's insane. And the fact that they're listening to us and calling us out into like, hey, help us out to design the way you want to show and sell your art. That's beautiful, man. It doesn't happen like that back in the day. Like OpenSea, nothing against them, but it was more like this is what we have and try to figure it out. I never got a reply from them saying, "Oh, look, do you want to put this on the left or the right? Do you want to make this shit white or black?" No, we just had the tool, and I felt like, dude, you're making money out of what we do, and of course we need you as well. But what if we talk and make this a bit better? And that was exactly what they did. I had a meeting back in like March or like right before NFT NYC last year with Sam, and it led us to One Hub. So now we're out here. We're out here in the One Hub. We also have Drip, which is a huge new platform for people to collect art. I love the Drip. I don't know if you're already on there. Yeah, of course you are. I've collected your art there as well, and oh man, it's just so much fun. Like I love going on there. It's like Instagram a bit, like you see people's stuff, what they're creating. Some people will show like their whips or like their works in process, and I just love that part, like being able to tell the story behind the final product. So much fun. Some of those pieces are related to the mural in Wynwood and stuff like that that I've launched. Also, my series about not only rats, which is out here as well. In my studio, I've been working on Snoopy's and some other characters, and I love the fact that people now are like, "Oh, so you don't only paint Mickey Mouses?" I'm like, "No, man. No, I could paint some other shit too." And they're like, "Oh, but I've never seen that." So it's cool because it gets the collector or like the follower to engage with other things that I also like to create.
Okay. You want to talk about Chroma Fest at all, or?
Yeah, because we're actually gonna have a new Chroma Fest in March. So Chroma Fest is basically. Did it connect? Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
good,
it's
right?
going. Yeah,
I, was-
yeah.
I was switching my headphones. Chroma Fest started organically from Jusapata, Maria Paula Alzate, which was the artist that we were talking about earlier, and myself, and we decided to create a platform that relates and connects both physical and virtual realities, right? In this case, through virtual reality. So what you're seeing now, you're seeing the screen here, is basically our VR Expo. For some reason, I don't know what happened on here. My piece is the only one that doesn't load up. So if you go off to Hudasaka, there's like a big on the right. Yeah, I don't know what happened on that one. I haven't been there in a while. But we created this space in which people can navigate through physical pieces and digital pieces. So for this one in particular, look, it doesn't load up. I don't know what happened. I realized that the other day. I have to fix it. For this expo in particular, we did this last year with the people from Bogota Design Festival, and we had pieces, physical pieces at the event from Luco, Maria Paula Alzate, Hudasaka, I mean myself, and that was pretty dumb, and Yu Zapata. But we also had over 20 or so artists from all over the world. Drain Dye, John Carlo, Jenny Penn, I mean, a whole bunch of artists um, that, was it was pretty cool to be able to do that here in Bogota. This year we're gonna do I mean we took Cromaverse all the way to Costa Rica. We did the Bogota Design Festival. We've done this at universities. We've done this various places here in Bogota. And this year we're doing one again in March, in which we're gonna have physical pieces from Colombian artists, and we're gonna have a digital exhibition and a virtual reality experience with artworks from people from the One Love Art DAO. So that's in March 27th. And I know it sounds like, oh yeah, that's in a couple of months, but that's really like right around the corner. So we're getting to work on
Comes
that now.
fast. Time, yeah.
Yeah, this year, I know I said January normally takes a really long time to go through. Like the first 15 days, I was like, oh, this is pretty quick, but I feel it's been January for a month now, like more than a month now. And but after that, it's like February, March, boom, 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 and then we're in New York. It's like, wow, we're here again. So hopefully I have I'm gonna keep my eyes wide open so I don't miss any important events throughout the year.
Okay, Juan. Um, Best place for someone to reach out, find you, check you out, look out more of your art. I tried to show everything I possibly could while we talked. But, why don't you let people know where the best place to contact you, reach out to you? I could do that now while you're talking and show your links. Go ahead.
Perfect. So as we do so, man, I just want to say thank you before I leave and go off to say where you can find me because this has been. I mean, we've talked for 2 hours and 23 minutes, and it really feels.
We still got a little bit. We still got, yeah. Don't say goodbye yet. Just
Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay. But I do want to say thanks. But yeah, you can find me on IG, Instagram as
Let's bring
Judasaca.
that up. Okay.
Um, and then of course that's on IG, and then on Twitter. That's my two most active social media. Um, like the ones that I use the most. On Twitter, you'll find me as at Judasaca, and then
Underscore.
what do you call this?
Underscore.
Underscore art. Some dude took my Judasaca, so I had to add the underscore. That dude was me. I just forgot the freaking account, so I lost it. Man, that was dumb, and I
You
couldn't get
should
it
write
back.
support. Did you ever contact?
I did, but I couldn't get it back.
Wait.
Like
Did you write
it's,
support pre Elon or
I,
after Elon?
yeah, it was a long
Oh,
time ago. Probably I should try to contact
yes.
Mr.
Yeah,
Musk.
yeah, yeah. I think you might have
Like
better
it's
results if you ask now. You know, I
okay.
think.
I hadn't thought of that in a while, but I was like, that was me. Like I'm the one who had that other
Yeah,
account. I can't
it's not
remember the
like you have
password.
hundreds of thousands over here. It's probably
No.
very easy for you to rebuild that number back up, especially if you let But yeah, I would definitely go after that name and see if you could get that reinstated. Give me
Hopefully.
a sec. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't, especially if it was you, who originally. Yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't.
I hadn't thought of that, so yeah, I'm gonna do
Yeah, I
that
would
when I
give
write
that
to
another
them.
crack. Yeah, absolutely, especially with the new staffing and the new people. All right, guys. So you see his Twitter. We have his Twitter up here. We also have his Instagram right here. Bring up his link tree. On his link tree, you can check out his available works, as well as his Instagram, his X, got his One Hub. Showed you his One Hub. Also, what's Smiles? Okay, yeah, we have, where is the One Hub? Okay, is this One Hub? Yeah, okay, this is his One Hub. Got an Ordinals. This is Ordinals, yeah. OpenSea is up here as well. You can check out his Drip, which is right here. And then this is you could check out the ChromaFest VR gallery if you guys want. So, all right, that's a nice little run through. I'm going to click on available works. Got it. Okay. Okay. And then you could see a little presentation with his available works as well. All right. So hang on, Huda. I'm going to reset the screens here. I'm pretty sure by now, yeah, I knew that camera was going to go out. Let's go back to full guest. Yeah, hang on while I switch this battery. I'm going to switch this battery, and then I'm going to go underneath my desk, and I'm going to try as fast as possible to see if I could find these little ad things that I talked about
Yeah.
just to close the show up on. I think that would be pretty cool to show these things. Hopefully I could find them pretty quickly. You know that I take marketing extremely seriously because I keep the stuff right down here next to me as close as I possibly can. In case of emergencies like this. So let's
Like this one. Like, don't
so
throw it out. You never know
yeah.
when we get to talk
Yeah,
about
no,
this
you're
again.
right. I save lots of different things, but let's see if I get a good shot at this. Let's see if I could. Is this it?
And it's like these are things you've kept
Bro,
since
you
you
have
were
no
like
idea.
way
Yes,
younger, right?
yeah. I don't know which. Yeah, my okay. I didn't switch cameras yet. So this is you know how much stuff is digital today.
Yeah.
Before I was a professional photographer, I always loved images, and so what I would do is I would just kind of flick through magazines and I would rip out all of these images. Well, I have never gotten rid of these images. I'd also save things like okay. So I don't know if you could. Oh, man, everything's all over the place. Maybe it's better to do it with this way. Hang on, let me bring back the full screen. Let me open this up a little so they can see. And then let's see, double vert. No, let's use this one. Okay, here. I don't know. Yeah, you could see. Okay, so everybody could see. Hang on, let me. I'm gonna need two hands to do this. So this is
See the Marlboro roof
you
right
see it,
there.
right?
That's so
Okay,
fucking
watch
cool.
this. So this comes out of here, right? And this is stuff they would send in the mail all the time. But then this would be like there. So I think this was see-through, yeah, if I remember correctly. But this whole thing this whole thing would come apart. And you could see the type of now. So if you know marketing, this is not stuff that now over here on this end, so this is not stuff that like, this is tickets. And so this is not, so, I mean, if you know printing, and I know printing very well, this is not something, okay. No, most budgets can afford to send you a postcard in the mail, right? This has plastic. I mean, you see the scores and the cuts in this thing. It comes in an envelope that you could slide it into so these are the things that would show up on your doorstep from Marlboro. And I'd be like, wow, that is some marketing over smoking some stuff that's probably going to end up killing you. So, they not only make a lot of money, so these are like things that this is not Marlboro now, but like if you pull this out, right? Who is this? Mercedes.
It's
Okay,
see-through
so
though.
this
I
is
can
so
still.
this is. Oh,
Wow.
hang on. Okay.
Oh, I see the car
Yeah,
now.
so this is.
What is it, like a C class, an old B class? What is that shit?
Good question. I don't even know.
Like a
I
CLS?
just saved this. It's just, are you ready? 3-row seating for ATX, panoramic glass. I guess they're
CLS.
Grand Sports Tour from Mercedes-Benz. I guess this was the release of a new Mercedes-Benz, right? But look at that. This is. See, you want to you send somebody a postcard. Most likely they're going to take it. What are they going to do? They're going to throw it in the trash. But you send somebody something like this, where you look through it and the Mercedes-Benz symbol, and you pull out a nice piece of plastic. I save all this shit. Little shout out to my boy Miguel, who always did great graphics in Miami. This is his company, PK Graphics. So if you're familiar with Miami, you've probably seen his graphics. All right, I'll save this one for the end. Let's see if I saved any more let's see if it's probably better to do it here than on the other camera. I don't want to be too far away. I don't see it anymore. I probably have more Marlboro. That's a Bud Light. So, but here is, hang on, you ready for this? So, this is like the holy grail of absolute ads. This right here is something every absolute ad collector is after. So this underneath, okay, here, wait, hang on. So this used to be the snow, but okay.
Oh, that's the one you were talking about before. That's pretty good.
Right, okay, hang on.
Still works, right?
No, the water evaporated in it.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's absolute wonderland, right? So this whole thing, this whole plastic used to be filled with water, and you see the snow in there.
Yeah.
So you used to turn this upside down and back, and right, and so it doesn't.
It just looks like powder, but that's pretty cool. Why don't you have that framed? Maybe no.
You
Isn't that
know,
like a
when I guess I mean, it kills me that it doesn't have the fluid in it anymore, which makes me actually want to take like a syringe and put, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, and then it might be frameable. I can't see framing it without it working, but this was the ad in the paper, and then underneath it, they glued this plastic piece to it, right? And so
I remember they had that. What year is that? Maybe like mid-90s or
oh
something?
my
Because I remember they
gosh,
used to do that. They used to put like two pieces of plastic together with this gel thing on that you
I
could play
wouldn't
on.
even know. But this is, I wouldn't even know what this had to be. Let's see, I was at work. I was working, so that was engineering. So that was 92, 92, 96, 96, 96. 96 I graduated, so it was like 97, 98. So I probably had this for about 4 or 5 years. But yeah, another thing, right? I found this, right? And this is like when
Dancing with the
this is when
Stars.
this is when what do you call this? It's not coming to me. So this is when they first started printing on hologram paper.
Okay.
Right? You don't see anything like this. So these are the type of things that like I would rip out of magazines and doctors' offices, and when things would come in the mail, and I'd be like, you know what? This is really cool. Like if you get me to stop, you know what I mean? If you get me to stop and look and really start playing with it and analyzing with it, then you won. Because, it takes a lot to grab my attention, especially in, I was just always like that. Let me put these cameras back to normal here so we can finish this up and call it a night here. You can say goodnight to everybody. I wanted to show you that because
Oh man, thank you for sharing
I hear
those.
when somebody talks about marketing, I'm like, man, I love the marketing aspect of everything. I just love everything about marketing, and I love social media. So when I see people using social media, right? And wait a second, let me switch back the camera so you're not talking to an empty chair here. When I see somebody using the camera, when I see somebody using marketing correctly, and I see them, just using it right, and then using social media right, and I see somebody win, and you see them winning with a really good idea. And I remember, the first introduction to the art cartel, and I'm like, what's this shit jumping around off the page here? I'm like, what's this guy doing? And I'm like, this is pretty cool shit. It's just things that catch my attention. And I think so. It's interesting that your AR work and the little tech that you included into your art, the neon, right? And so these are things that like boom, they like immediately. And so I was looking at the AR and I'm like, this is a little something going on right here. And now getting to talk to you and learn about the whole marketing aspect to you, I'm like, duh, this makes so much sense. So I don't really believe in coincidences, right? I believe everything in life happens for a reason. So Really scary, right? Great art, but then also the marketing aspect of it. And so the art cartel really is the art cartel. You guys got it all in your little um, shit. You know, you guys got everything. I don't think I think if one of you guys can't handle it, there's two more of you guys that are more than sufficient at handling it. So nice little squad you guys put together. Okay. Uh, Huda. Before we say goodnight, maybe you could leave us off with some inspirational words, some other artists. You're like the final piece to the art cartel, and each one of you guys super creative in all your own ways. Maybe you could leave us off with some inspirational words for other artists out there. That might be in marketing. And it might be saying, I want to give a shot at some art. Or, maybe to that kid that was, back in Colombia who wants to, I want to be up in Times Square one day. Maybe you could leave us off with some words
Totally.
of inspiration. Go ahead, man. Take it from there.
Um, yeah, I do have to say, like some closing words would be like, no, and I heard this recently, and it's something my dad would always tell me. And no door was answered. Like, if you don't knock on your doors, then it's hard. Like, nobody's gonna come to your house and be like, oh my God, what you're creating is so cool. You have to put it out there. So like, if you don't knock on any door, no doors would open. So just get out there and talk to the right people and knock on some doors and get your shit out there. Like, you have to let people know what you're doing if that's really what you want to do. And also, and this is something that's hard even for me, and it's hard for everybody. Because some days are not all that great, and I do like talking about that now. Like, it's not like I wake up every day and I'm happy, right? It'd be fucking weird if I was. But it would be nice too, but it would be weird. Like, hey, man, I'm just so happy every day. Um, I'm not, and I say that in terms of like creation, and how I come up to create. So you don't have to create every day. Hopefully you do, but you do have to keep um and be consistent. Like you have to keep going. And some days are tough, and some days you're like, "Oh, I don't want to wake up." And people say that. People are like, oh my God, I want to go to the gym today. It's the same type of consistency that makes you want to keep going in terms of art. So do what you do and knock on a lot of doors. A lot of doors will not be answered, but if you don't knock, for sure that it will not be answered. So yeah, that's the one thing I have to say is get out there. If you're shy, then be shy about it, but do it. You have to go on and and claim what you want. And I believe that's what I'm doing now. I'm dreaming big, and it's something that I never saw myself being here, nor interviewed by you, nor being in New York or Miami and Wynwood and all these great things and blessings that have happened. And it makes me dream, and I do say that with a lot of love, and it's the fact that I want to create more fun stuff. I want to eventually get to work in a collab with Disney directly, like doing some crazy cool things. And hopefully that's where this all takes me. But I also have to know that maybe it won't be exactly like that. Not everything will come out right as it is intended, but hopefully it does. And if I keep putting the work, I bet that's most likely what's gonna happen. So thank you, Mark, seriously, for this space. I love coming out here every time I can and supporting. Because 401, I think 400, and I don't know how many episodes you've gotten so far. It's really inspiring for me and the Art Cartel and the boys, Luquito and Jusapata. As you said, it's a great combo of of kids that are not so young anymore. Because Zapata is 40 something, Luke was 25, 26. But we are just having fun, and hopefully no one takes that from us. And it's the fact that we're doing this because we're in love with what we do, and it makes us, I guess, free into our craft of doing whatever the hell we want. And what else would a any artist want to do, but doing exactly what they want, right? We're a bit of um I guess we're rebels in that sense. So yeah, thank you so much, Mark. Seriously, I'm proud of myself, man. I love being here and chatting with you. It's like, wow, I remember looking at Mark before and like looking at all you like you've done, you created in your space here, and just sitting here and talking to you and chatting up with you. I consider you my friend as we have seen each other so much. Hopefully we get to meet each other soon in New York or anywhere else around the world. You're more than welcome to come to Colombia. It's pretty fun out here, of course. The dangers of Colombia are out there, but if you come with the right people, you will know exactly what to do and where to go, so you can have a great time for sure.
You, I look forward to meeting you guys at NFT NYC. I'll be there. I'm only 10 minutes from there. And I'll have my camera, my studio. I don't know if you've ever,
Well, we don't know if it's going to be at the Javits Center this year. It's not going to be at the
it,
Javits Center. It's
it
going to be
doesn't
somewhere
matter
else.
where it is. I'm
But
pretty close.
it's New York. Yeah.
I'm so close. I could be in the city within 10 minutes. And this year, because I brought the show over from no man's land, where it was just dying out. It's just last year I brought it to X, and look at how it blossomed. It gave me the ability to meet so many great people, so many great artists. So I'm really looking forward to NFT NYC this year. I would love to be able to maybe do a show from somewhere down there and be able to invite all of the HOP guests in real life. Have you guys sit down right on the show and say hello to everybody. I think that would.
Oh, let's do that.
I think that would just be an awesome HOP. So I want to say, I wrote it to everybody, but I'll say it to you, and I'll say it to everyone as they see them, because I won't forget about this. But I wanted to say thank you very much. I'm pretty sure I wrote everybody as well, but I really appreciate you coming on that Christmas show and keeping it, going that night, because I had some ideas, and very last minute I said, you know what, let's. I wanted to do a big show. It just wasn't working out the way I wanted it to. So I switched gears very last minute. I said, you know what? I'll just invite everybody on and let's see who comes, and let's see what happens. And you jumped on, and it ended up being a great time and a great show. And so I really appreciate that. I wanted to take a little extra time during this show just to showcase you and say, say thank you. Is my way to say thanks. And I'm happy that it was going to happen no matter what. But thanks to you, you was sort of like, you know what, we should do an art cartel show. And such a shit, I never did a show with 3 people on it before, and how am I going to do that? And it's all of a sudden we have these community shows on Wednesdays, and I was like, you know what, it'll fit perfectly right in there. And now here we are. Having a chance to, spotlight you. And so, yeah, man, I everybody who comes on this show is my friend, but I think that, I'm just very grateful that you helped carry that Christmas show, because it was so last minute. So I appreciate your time and coming on that show. And I just wanted to say a little extra thanks during this show. So on that note, man, I just, I want to thank you for coming on the show, spending time, dropping knowledge, especially talking about the marketing and just everything involved. And I think you're a huge asset when it comes to this little Web3 universe, because I think people should be coming to you for marketing ideas, AR ideas, and just all sorts of creativity coming from you, man. So looking forward to seeing the next 2 years, right? Because looking back and going through your gram and seeing you posting that first piece of art and your first, just nice to see someone's growth. So You have a long way ahead of you, bro. So, you know, I just want to say my age if you don't know my age, but you know,
I can add.
you know what I'm saying? So you know, I'm up there. So to look back and be like, damn, 27 years. Excuse me, 17 years. You got a lot to go in 17 years. I know I bopped around a lot. 33 was like my coming out party with my camera, and I started to really get hot. I jumped around a couple more places, but I came back to art. So yeah, man, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show, spending your time. Spent a little extra time than normal, but you know, I felt like it was worth it. So thank you very much, Huda.
Thank you so much, Mark, again, and thank you everybody that was here that hung out with us. Thank you, and yes, let's see where this art journey takes us in the next 2 years. It was really cool to go down memory lane and seeing how art has become more and more relevant in my life in the past year. So thank you so much for having me here. Thank you, everybody. See you around. Pay attention to what I do because we're doing a crazy 2025.
Before you go, you have one last question.
What was
Artist
that?
always gets to pick the song. So, the guest always gets to pick the song. So I need a song to close the show out on. No pressure. You have some time to think about it. I got to close out the show normally, but if you got a song in mind, maybe you want to drop. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe you want to drop. You
Un,
if you have.
un verano en Nueva York, El Gran Combo.
Okay.
That's a salsa song, and it's kind of manifesting what this year is gonna be in New York. So that's you. And but should I type it somewhere?
Yeah, can you maybe pull up the YouTube and send me the link of the track?
Yeah, of
All right,
course.
awesome. While you do that, I'm going to close out the show. We'll come back. You'll say goodbye one last time, and then we'll play out, and that'll be the show. So give me 2 minutes while I close out. Thank you. All right, guys. Give me one sec while I switch this back. Okay. All right. So you guys had a chance to meet Judasaca, Juan Salazar. He's part of the Art Cartel, also a part of the Christmas show. And finally, we get a chance to put some spotlight on him, spotlight show. And yeah, what a fun show. Fun for me. I hope fun for the rest of you guys. I learned a lot. Very interesting, the marketing end of it. I think marketing is a huge component to success for artists. Marketing yourselves on social media, but also the art of marketing and the art of getting someone's attention. And if you guys weren't paying attention, Judasaca definitely wandered into something with the neon addition to the paintings and the AR that has his artwork jumping off the screen. So lots of unique things within his artwork. And I think that's what it takes to get people's attention. Okay. On that note, what do we got tomorrow? Yeah, join us. Spaces. It's linked by Art Space. Sketch, Shira, and I will be hosting the space tomorrow morning, 9 to 11. Always a good time. Always good stuff. Not sure what the show is. Hang on. Let me get this right here. Tomorrow's they always pick good topics. But tomorrow's topics. Let me make sure I get this right before I run my mouth and get it wrong. Because I know I just posted it. Okay, business. What it was? Let's discuss. Business art is the step that comes after art. Okay. So funny. We're sitting here talking about marketing and the business that comes after creating it. Yeah. So that's tomorrow on the Linked by Art space, which only happens on Tuesdays from 9 to 11. Wednesday, we got a great community show. It's a community that was not part of the super community. but now has joined the super community. We have FCW, Freaks, Creeps, and Weirdos. A few of those guys have been on the show already. You guys have seen Creepy Steve as well as Uka Swaka. And so, that's going to be a fun show. Going to be 7 artists, features. And then Steve will also be here to talk about FCW community. So that should be a really good show. I think that's from 12 to 2:30 regular time. And then Friday, we have our recap. You know, it's the end of the month, so we always do a recap. We bring back a guest from the past. And so Alina will be part of she will be taking the spotlight on Friday morning from 9 to 11 on HOP. I'm so excited to talk to her. We will be showcasing her and her art. And then 1 o'clock will be TGIF in Spaces on Friday. So with my co-hosts, Sun and Alina. So on that note, y'all, I want you to have a great week. I want you to stay up, stay positive. It's a great week to create art. Matter of fact, every day is great to create art. I'm going to kill this light here. I'm going to move back to the screen. We're going to get Huda to say goodbye one last time. We're going to pull up his track. But, what a fun show. Fun show for me. I had fun. I always have fun when it comes to marketing and the interesting side of making the business grow as art. I'm going to come back here for a second. I'm going to bring up this track. Let's see, where are we? I'm all over the place here. Let me get to this thing. There we go. X, who the X changed something. I don't know what they changed. They changed something with the, it's for the better, but it works different. These lives, when you open up these lives, you used to open them up and the comments would all disappear, but they changed something, but I'm not used to how they changed it. So I got to figure out how to get it full screen. All right. I got this track up right now. All right, let's go. All right, on that note, we'll bring up Huda one last time. Say goodbye. All right, Huda. You are up one last time. You want to
All
say
right.
goodbye to everybody? Give them one last wave before we hit play.
I want to do this in Spanish just to close off. Muchas gracias a todos, a ti, Marc, por haberme tenido acá en este espacio. De verdad, una nota, poder hablar un poquito de lo que ha sido mi viaje en este mundo del arte, hacer ese recorrido desde el 2018 y un poquito antes hasta hoy, 2025, y claramente cómo nos proyectamos al futuro. Mil y mil gracias, los quiero, los que se unieron acá. Marc, you're awesome, bro. This is really a cool space, and I'm thankful for being here. So thank you so much. Thank you everybody that joined. See you around.
Great show, bro. Lots of good stuff. Something funny working with X. I don't know if anybody dropped any comments. I'm not being rude, but it's just the fact that I did not see you guys. Something funny happened with the show, and so I don't know if anybody left any comments. I'm not being rude. Just letting you guys know. But on IG, I want to say, guys, thanks for stopping in. She's crafty, high prod, must have it. Luco, Jose, Juan, OZ, the Hitman, Juan, Kami, Soymia. Oh, Salmia. Oh, she's going to get upset. Salmia. What's up? Good to see you. Sylvia, Vinish, Anna, Rama, Photoshop, you. Yes, you representing the art cartel and representing it well. Carito, Artnaz, JB, Rama. Rama says great artist. Yeah, great person, great artist, great marketer. No shit, ordinary. Thank you guys for all dropping in, watching the show tonight, spending tonight with us. Thank you everybody on X. Thank you everybody on Twitch. Thank you everybody on YouTube. And thank you everybody on Facebook. All right, we're going to hit this track now. Huda, give him a wave but goodbye. All right.
Ciao, ciao.
We'll see all you guys soon.
Un verano en Nueva York.
All right.
la montaña del oso, luego a la gira de un barco, o a la playa de Ochiembrillo, la fiesta del mamoncillo, o con la pompa en un charco. Si te quieres divertir con encanto y con primor, solo tienes que vivir un verano en Nueva York. El 4 la independencia, el desfile borinqueño, todo esto parece un sueño si lo gozan con prudencia. Fiesta folclórica quieres, allá en el parque central. Si de antemano no mueres, ves la fiesta de San Juan. Yuti Barreto me dijo, un verano en Nueva York. Ay, allí se goza mejor. Un verano en Nueva York. Te vas a la fiesta de San Juan. Un verano en Nueva York. Un verano en Nueva York. Un verano en Nueva York. A la montaña del oso. Un verano en Nueva York. Oye, te llevan a guarachar. Un verano en Nueva York. Los amigos caprichosos. Un verano en Nueva York. Que nunca quieren parar. Un verano en Nueva York. Un verano en Nueva York. Un verano en Nueva York. ¡Ay! ¡Verano en Nueva York! Un verano en Nueva York. Un verano en Nueva York. Un verano en Nueva York. ¡Oiga, Rubio! Oye, no me eche la culpa a mí, échale la culpa a Yuti Barreto, que es el que tiene esto encendido. Es el señor que sabe. Un verano en Nueva York. 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 Nueva York, Nueva York, Nueva York, Nueva York. Un verano en Nueva York. Oye, allí tú vas a gozar. Un verano en Nueva York. Viendo las mamis en Hatbell. Un verano en Nueva York. Un verano en Nueva York. Un verano en Nueva York. Ay, la cosa se ha puesto dura. Un verano en Nueva York. Pedro, se puede gozar. Un verano en Nueva York.
Okay.
Nice try. That was a damn good show. I'll see everybody on the next one. Who would have give it to him in Spanish?
Gente, nos vemos en el próximo episodio de La Hora del Power. Let's go.
See you guys on the next one. Peace.